and to finally have a say in which people we want to have a say in those decisions, and discuss some of the changes they're talking about enacting right here in our own backyard. Join me, my fellow Mayor Chick Kim Munson, as we get to the heart of the matter on the war on the individual and discuss what we can do about it this Sunday from 4 to 6.
Hi, Bill McCormick here to thank you for making the Crawford Stand part of your day, and to let you know that now you can hear the stand on demand. Just go online to www.crawfordbroadcasting.com. Click on the stand button and look for the title of the commentary you want. You can then click on it to read, print, listen, or download as an MP3. This new service is for commentaries broadcast since the beginning of this year, and they're right there on the stand page at www.crawfordbroadcasting.com. The Crawford Stand is a public affairs presentation for God and country.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
I did copy the show off the disc. Need to convert it to an MP3.
7.5. To do a quarter mile.
Say that again.
390 horsepower. 500 foot-pounds.
Okay.
Performance limit is what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Drive Radio. I am your host, John Rush. Along with me today in studio is Jeff Keaty from Larry's Automotive up in the Westminster area. And Jeff, we just we barely made it. I got here nice and early today. It's a good thing because we had a little trying to get our YouTube camera to work all properly and everything. I had a little finagling around I had to do on the software side of things, and we just now got hooked up. So if you want to watch us on YouTube, you can go to our website, drive-radio.com, and you'll see where the YouTube feed is right there. Click on it. And by the way, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, click on the search, or just go to the search bar, type in Drive Radio, all one word, and that will take you right to our channel. And if you want to subscribe to it, anytime we put up something new on YouTube, you'll see it. But good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, John. What a beautiful day.
It is. In fact, I'm going to get Jeff up here in a minute. We'll pull the other shade up. I forgot. I pull those down in the evenings when I'm here because the sun starts to come in, and then on Saturday mornings, I forget. I need to raise that back up so we can see back out. But it is a beautiful Saturday morning. Absolutely gorgeous. We have a lot in store for you, so please call us 303-477-5600. I've got some tech tips. We've got 100. If we get to it, we'll see what happens. I've got 100 new car buying tips. 100. So I'll see if we get to a few of those. I did that because Isaac Bouchard was supposed to be on with us today, and I may still get Isaac to call in and do a segment or so today. We'll see if he's listening, if he wants to do that. But by the way, if you've got anything that you need on the new car, used car, leasing, buying, selling, advice, you name it, Isaac's our guy. Isaac Bouchard, 303-475-1462. Isaac's a great guy. He was going to be here today, but he was out of town late this week, and I just didn't think he was going to get back in town in time last night to make everything work this morning. So at any rate, we'll see what happens, whether he calls in today or not. So question for the day. And I don't remember who sent us this. I think actually our tech up in Idaho, David, I think actually sent us this, which I'll have his tech tips in just a minute, but I think this was his suggestion of the day for the question. Tell us about an accident you avoided while driving and how that changed the way you drove after that experience. So in other words, did you have some near mishap, or maybe there was even an accident that you were involved in that has since changed the way you drive? That's going to be a tougher one. So those of you out there listening, call us 303-477-5600. I'm going to start and ask Jeff right off the bat. Jeff, any experiences along those lines?
The only thing I can think of is It wasn't an accident for me, but black ice coming up in the winter. The wife and I were heading down I-70, and next thing we know, we're doing 360s all over the place. No warning, no nothing. And I'm thinking she's like 8 months pregnant. I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And I don't think I could get the truck in the 4-wheel drive fast enough and get it over off the road. I swear, not after 5 seconds. All you hear is crunch, crunch, bam, boom.
Yeah. And that,
that changed your outlook, especially when you got an 8-month pregnant wife.
yes, I hear you. You're right on that. So hang on, I'm trying to read a text message we just got here from my wife. Let me see what it says. Something about the YouTube sound is very choppy. Okay, I will do my best to fix that. We're not doing it the normal way I do that, so that might be why it sounds a little choppy. So those of you listening, I'll do my best to try to make some adjustments to that. I don't know why it would be choppy. I don't know. I'll work on that a little bit and see if it gets any better. So those of you that are out there listening to us on YouTube, if it gets any better or worse, please let me know. I'll try to make a few adjustments on mine. I've been fussing with it most of the morning, so we'll see how that goes. So yeah, send me an email. Let me know how it goes. But call us. Hey, love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. Is there an accident that you were involved in that it changed the way you drive? Let's just put it that way. We'll just make it short and simple. Were you ever involved in an accident, or did you experience something in your life that changed the way you drive? If so, call us. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600, and we'll take your call just as soon as you call us. So please let us know what that is. I'd love to hear those stories. And Jeff just kind of triggered something in my mind. It's not in my notes for today, but we are coming up to the winter months.
Yes, we are.
And some of what you guys will talk about today, listeners you'll talk about today, comes from experience. Now, nothing against young drivers or even older people that are still young drivers. I mean, some people don't get their driver's license now until later in life. It's not like it used to be where everybody goes out at 16 and they get their license. So I'm not trying to point fingers, but the longer you drive, the more experience you gain, sort of like life. And the more experiences you go through makes you a better driver. At least it should make you a better driver. And it doesn't always, but typically it should. So tell us about what some of those things are that have made you a better driver over the years. What are some things maybe you've seen? Maybe you've been involved in an accident. Maybe you saw somebody else, or there was somebody that was close to you that had an accident. It just changed the way you drove. I'd love to hear that from you. 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll let you know, or we'll get you right on air. By the way, the lines typically light up quickly. We have one call coming in right now, and it will start to flow in here as we get rolling along. If you have a question and there's something you'd really like to talk about, I would suggest call early. Because a lot of times I've had people email me after the show and say, John, I tried to get in all day, and every time I tried to call, the phone was busy, and I just couldn't get in. So here's my question. Okay. I get that, and we're really busy. We take on average about 30-plus phone calls on a Saturday. So, yes, a lot of Saturdays it can get very, very busy. So, if you want to call us and get in quickly, do that now. 303-477-5600. We're going to go to Edward right off the bat, who's got a question on gas storage. Edward, welcome. What's going on today?
I do have a question, because every station I go to has the ethanol in it, and I've heard if you're going to store gas, don't buy that. But where do you buy the pure gas?
There is a website, and I believe if you just Google, and in fact, I can do this for you real quick right now. I believe if you Google pure gas, let me look at this real quick, and I will tell you if I'm correct. It's on our website, too, at drive-radio.com. I could go there right away. But yes, if you go to pure-gas.org, they will have a map and a listing of stations in the area that have ethanol-free gas. And there's more than you think. Some states have way more than others. Some as you would figure, some states have less than others. Why that is, I do not know. In our area, there is not a lot. When you look at the map, you'll see a bunch. In fact, I can just look here real quick. In Golden, I'll just click on that one, for example, and that's Brad's Conoco that we talk about a lot on air. They're at 1075 South Union.
Okay.
Okay, so, but you can go to, again, pure-gas.org.
Okay. And I have a near accident story.
And that, we'll take that in a second. One of the things I was going to add, Brad, or Edward, is you can also buy an additive now that is made by, it just was on the tip of my, tell your story, and I'll come back with an additive you can actually put in that will also help that too.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll look it up real quick.
Okay. Well, I was the first one in line at an intersection, waiting on the green, and I turned green, but something said to look both ways, and I saw a very large vehicle. I think it was a big SUV barreling down the road. They were obviously not going to be able to stop for their red light. So I waited, and everybody behind me starts honking their horn, and he comes flying through the intersection. That could have broadsided me. So now every time I get a green light, I look both ways anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a great, and by the way, those of you that are young drivers, they typically teach that in driver's ed, but boy, especially certain intersections, they really, Edward, you're right, every intersection you're in, you should do that, because you just never know who's going to be barreling through at the last minute.
Especially in today's
Fast-paced world.
You never know who's paying attention, who's talking on the phone, who's doing this, who's doing that, and especially in the morning. I mean, in our neighborhood, we've got a stoplight that invariably 3 times a week somebody's going to run that red light.
No, I on my way to work, I have to stop at South Boulder Road and 287 up in the Lafayette area, and that light at 287. So I'm going east and west on South Boulder Road, and it's inevitable in the mornings if I don't pay attention. If I got the green light going eastbound on South Boulder Road, if I'm not paying attention, there's always, almost every cycle, there's somebody trying to just inch their way through the light. And that's 55 miles an hour through there. So kind of like what Edward's saying, if you're not careful and you inch out too far and the last car coming through, boy, it's just and they have accidents there, and it's just a recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So, Edward, I did find, and I apologize. It was on top of my head a minute ago, and I totally forgot it. It's called Stabil 360. So, STABIL 360, and that's a new product that they've got out, and it will protect, and it's a stabilizer for gasoline with ethanol in it.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. And what kind of time period should we consider there for gas? How long is it going to last?
If you put the Stabil 360 in it, they claim you can get several years out of it, but if you win a season or two, you have no problems.
Okay. Yeah, because I have a large can for the lawnmower, but years to use all that.
No, you use this and you'll be fine up to a year without any problem at all. Stabil will tell you that their product will stabilize fuel to the point that the fuel is still stable, but there's no volatility left in it to actually burn. So it will keep the fuel stable. It just loses all of its energy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's good. It's a good product. You can use it. It works great, and it even works good inside of your vehicle, etc. If you've got a vehicle that you're storing, got some methanol in it, RVs, things like that. Yeah, it's a great product for all of that.
Okay, very good.
Okay,
thank you.
Thanks, Edward. Appreciate the phone call. And I'm going to talk today, and that Stabil just went along with it. I am going to talk today about RV and camper storage. It's getting to be that time of the year. Some of you guys that are up hunting, etc. Yeah, I get it. I understand. You're still using yours and so on, but a lot of the rest of you, it's starting to wind down. The season, it's getting cooler at night. There's snow in the mountains, and the camping season is really starting to wind down. I do have some specific things that we'll go over, that we'll talk about, that you need to do to get your RV and camper ready for winter. So I may hit a couple of those as soon as we come back. Lines are open. We'd love to hear from you. Anything that you want to talk about, 303-477-5600. But again, tell us about a driving experience. It's probably the best way to say it. Could be an accident, could not, just be maybe a mere, maybe just a near miss like what we just talked about. Give us a driving experience that you've had that has changed the way you drive after that experience. I'd love to hear what that is. 303-477-5600. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. John Rush, Jeff Kitty, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Napa supports the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund.
Yeah. Better than I was the last 3 days. That was pretty rough.
Racing cap. For every cap we give out, we'll donate $1 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, supporting those who serve you. That's Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores, while supplies last. Offer expires 11/16/14.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in northern Colorado? At Fort Collins 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4, located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at Fort Collins 4x4 are committed to providing the professional and personal service you're looking for. Give them a call at 970-482-5500. 970-482-5500. Check them out on the web at FortCollins4x4.com or follow them on Facebook at FortCollins4x4.com.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application, Napa Auto Parts, and equal opportunity.
It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
We are back. John Rush, your host, Jeff Kitty from Larry's Automotive, which, by the way, Jeff is our resident transmission experts. I see some of you are already starting to call in with some transmission questions. Feel free to continue to call us, and Jeff will answer those questions. 303-477-5600. I'm trying to adjust volume, by the way, for some of you folks that are on YouTube. So, hello, all of you that are on YouTube, and I'm trying to get levels adjusted. Please let me know if it sounds better, sounds worse. I'm on a different program than I normally use to run YouTube, so I think it's a little more sensitive. So please let me know if things have gotten better or gotten worse as I adjust that. In the meantime, let's go to Bill. Lines are open, by the way. Give us a call, 303-477-5600. And Bill was there, and now Larry's talking to him, so I'll wait just a moment, and I'll get Bill back on, and we'll run that question through here in just one moment, so stay with us. In the meantime, I asked this because we came into the show. Tell us an accident or a driving experience that you've had that has changed the way you drive after that. Call us. Let us know that it might have been a ferocious, speeding ticket. It could have been a bad accident. It could have been an accident that you observed. It could have been you were a passenger in an accident. Matt, come on. What do you got? Tell us. Can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Turn your mic up. We'll get Matt going here in a second.
Yeah, sorry.
There we go. That's better.
The fact of the matter is I've been out of the captain's chair for about 3 days, so I apologize for that.
It's all right.
I sound a little bad, but I had one about a year ago. Me and my wife and my daughter were driving down from Fun City off of Quincy and Kipling, and we saw a lady in an SUV making a illegal U-turn and run into a motorcycle that these people didn't have leathers or helmets on, and the lady did like I turned my head where you just like kind of naturally do that, and the lady on the back flipped 2 times in the air and landed on the concrete, and the other guy was just horrible. I jumped out of the car and had to pull him away from a burning motorcycle. Like his whole clutch hand was just completely burned. It was just really bad, and just. I had to pull him away from that. My wife was more stunned than anything that I just jumped out of. That's kind of just interesting for me being in the service.
Sure.
But after that, I mean, my wife, I was just about to go and buy a motorcycle, like about 2 weeks later. And I know this is it's automotive, but
that's okay.
She
it runs and has a motor. We're fine. Or engine. We're fine with that.
She wouldn't let me.
That wasn't going to happen.
Oh no, she will not let me have a motorcycle. I had a Triumph, nice one, just. Loaded all out. She was all on board before this happened, and it happened. She's like, nope, you're not doing it, not ever again.
Okay, so those are the kind of stories that we're looking for. What is something that happened while you were driving that has changed the way you drive from that point forward? Zach, who was our engineer here on Drive Radio for a number of years and is now on the morning show with Randy Corbin here on KLZ, he has a story that I'm sure if he was in the engineer seat like Matt is, he would share with us today. He was rear-ended here just a couple of weeks ago by a young person driving while texting. Totaled his car. His wife had some issues. They had to go to the hospital, get a bunch of x-rays, etc. They're on the mend. But you know what? Will that change the way he drives? It'll probably make sure that he doesn't text and drive himself. But just a case in point, you need to be paying attention to what's going on, not only in front of you,
all around you,
but what's all around you. And what I mean by that is, as you pass somebody, or as a lot of times you can look in the rearview mirror and see if somebody's attention is on the road and what's in front of you, or if it's in their lap. And if they're constantly looking down as they're driving, they're probably doing something they're not supposed to be doing. Thereby, I'm one of those that you just stay away from those people while you're driving. I don't know about you, Jeff, but when I see those, especially if I'm in any kind of traffic, I just get away from them. I get another lane. I do whatever I can to get around them to where I'm just not going to be near them if possible.
I try to use the eye contact rule that if somebody doesn't make eye contact with you, you need to watch them. They're not paying attention to their surrounding deals. It's watching for pedestrians and everything else. I mean, it's just, you got to watch out for the other guy, unfortunately.
I agree with you. And Larry's screening some calls. I'm trying to get our YouTube sound adjusted, so I apologize if some of you on YouTube are watching me type and do things at the same time, because I'm trying to make sure we get our sound adjusted. My wife's listening to it, trying to see if we've got our sound levels right or not. But again, lines are open. Call us 303-477-5600. Questions? We've got answers. Jeff Kitty, our resident transmission expert, is with us. Whatever you want to talk about, that's what we're here for. We'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. Doesn't matter what it is. Car questions, motorcycle questions, RV questions. We're going to get into that here in just a little bit. Randy from Castle Rock, you're next. What's going on, Randy?
Hey, guys. I want to throw in a quick thank you to you guys being there on the weekend for people like me that have questions, and also can't sign up on the weekend.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
It's nice to be able to call someone and get that 100%, I consider you guys to be 100%.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Anyway, quick question. I don't know if I asked you or not, because I guess I'm getting older. But I thought I had looked up on my 07 Dodge Caliber with 2 liter because I think I have a metal panel leak.
Right.
And I thought I saw that thing did not come with a gasket. As far as from the factory,
you probably have to buy a gasket. Well, it may not have a gasket at all, depending upon the way the pan is made.
Right.
It might be glued on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it said it had some type of glue they put on there.
Right.
But my question was, I saw some aftermarket ones. I wonder, would that advantage me, or should I just leave long enough alone and let it get put back like it should be? From the dealer, without a gasket.
The aftermarket gaskets have been kind of a nice thing, because when they put these together at the factory, they glue them on everything's dry, clean, and everything else. A lot of times when you're going back together with them, it's really hard to get that glue to seal if you don't get all the oil off of it. So in some cases, those gaskets are a godsend because they just sometimes seal better. I know on transmissions, we run into a lot of that, and a lot of times we put a gasket back in place just for that reason, because we can't get a good seal, and it's, you just don't want it coming back on it.
I just wondered if they didn't put one out from the factory, if maybe there's a reason for that. So am I hurting their
cost? Is a big cost, and the speed of assembly is the biggest reason why they don't. You keep in mind, a lot of that is done not necessarily robotically, but there's a big bulk of product that can come down the tube, and they can lay that stuff in there very quickly. Everything is upside down. They lay that pan on top, zip it in with an automatic torque wrench that they've got on the line, and off they go. So it is just more a situation of speed than it is anything else. Speed and cost.
So what would you do if it was your vehicle? Put an aftermarket gasket, or just put it back like
I would have to see what the gasket looks like in that particular case to see how it fits into the grooves and what's on the pan to determine if that's the best way to go, or if I'm going to use silicone and put it back on the way the factory intended it to be. That's a question I can't answer without seeing it in front of me.
Okay. Put the accident story here. I wasn't involved, but boy, it sure did make me, drive the speed limit for quite some time. I was in Florida. I see a John Lennon exhibition of some pictures he had drawn, and about 10, 15 cars in front of me, I see some dust in the Mediterranean. There's no guardrails, so I knew someone that went off the road. But what they did also was I seen the car go airborne, came down, landed on another car with a mom and her 3 kids, turned it into a convertible.
Oh, wow.
One's out in the field about 100 yards. Mom didn't have a hat. I know it's a little gruesome. The other one's back there. She's clearly no pulse. And one little baby's underneath the bent driver back seat in the floorboard, screaming.
Wow.
So, I mean, everybody's on that car trying to get her out. I mean, we smell the rubber and everything. Yeah. It put things in perspective. Drive the speed limit and what you're doing.
Yep, not good. Go ahead, Randy. Back to your gasket situation. Yeah, and I think Jeff was going to add something to that.
The thing that we see a lot is people like to use silicone with cork gaskets.
That doesn't work.
And the problem with that is the silicone acts as a wedge, and when you tighten that up, it'll split the cork gasket. It's all over the place. It's not a good idea.
You're better off if it's not the gasket, or gasket's not even the right word. If it's not the right seal that they've designed in the aftermarket to fit that pan, go back to the way it was originally.
Yeah, if it came from the dealer, I feel good about it. But it's just some Joe Blow aftermarket trying to, make a few bucks on something here. I don't know about that.
Now, here's the way I look at that. If it's somebody like a Felpro, it's a very high quality manufacturer. In fact, they manufacture a lot of things for the factory, etc. If Felpro, has a retrofit type of a gasket, that one it wouldn't bother me. If it's some fly-by-night deal, I'd be a little more leery of it.
And that I don't know.
The other thing is normally in the gasket box or container, it's going to have instructions on how to put that gasket on, and they're very rarely wrong. I mean, I tend to follow those instructions to the letter.
I'll have to make a decision on it. And if it doesn't say maybe I won't get it.
Okay. Randy, thanks so much for your phone call. We appreciate it. All right, coming up next, I have my own story. In fact, I've got several, but I have one in particular that I will share. Before I started driving, I actually witnessed and in fact, I might have had my permit at that point in time. If I was a driver, it was I started driving at a really early age, just not on the highways. And Jeff knows what I mean by that. You go four-wheel hunting, etc. Dad lets you drive, and I started driving at a very early age. Parked cars, ran around the dealerships, etc. So I had a lot of experience driving. But there was one particular incident that happened on a summer night around my house, my folks' house, where I was. I lived with them, of course, and. I will share that story with you. And yes, did that have an impact on me in the way I drive in particular situations? Since it sure did. So I'll share that with you as soon as I come back. John Rush, Jeff Katie, lines open. Call us. We'll get you right on air at 303-477-5600. You're listening to Drive Radio, John Rusher, host, KLZ 560. Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
K&N's premium oil filters are very will do. It is easier. K&N's branch off oil filters have a 1-inch nut welded on the top, so you can easily change the filter with a wrench or ratchet. And used with a Ziploc freezer bag, you can even remove a K&N oil filter with no oil spillage at all. Another great product from K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969. Your wheel alignment can affect tire wear and fuel mileage that will cost you more for repairs and fuel. Arvada West uses state-of-the-art 3D imaging to align all 4 wheels of your vehicle. Be aware that irregular tire wear could also cause need for additional alignment parts. Stop in or call us for our alignment special. Mention this ad and we'll inspect your vehicle and check your alignment starting at $69.95. Call Arvada West Auto at 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Wow, is that an angry monkey screaming at you? Nope, it's your windshield wipers. They're literally crying out for you to replace them. Lucky for you, Napa now has 30% off select visibility products. That's 30% off wiper blades, headlight bulbs, and more. So cut all the monkey business and conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 10/31/14.
All right, sorry for the lateness in getting back on here. I'm trying to make the sound for you guys on YouTube work a little better. I've not figured out what's going on. Everything's set the way I've always had it, but we've got a cord problem or something weird going on. So we'll keep working on it through the breaks and do our best. In the meantime, listen to us live on KLZ560thesource.com or the TuneIn app if you're out of the area, or KLZ 560, which you could already be listening to us on already anyways, which is the easiest way to do it. But again, we'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. Let's listen to what Mike's got to say. He's from Fort Collins. Mike, what's going on with your trailer?
Well, it's not the trailer so much as truck, I think.
Okay.
2004 GMC half-ton two-wheel drive pickup that I've been pulling a older Airstream trailer with. It weighs approximately, I took it down and weighed it this past summer before we took off on vacation. It weighed 5,200 with a tank of water and without our personal effects in it. Weighs about the same as the truck. Truck weighs about, with me sitting in it, about the same weight, anywhere from 5,000 to 5,200 empty. I've noticed on this truck, and I've had two other vehicles that have tow package on it. This truck does not have a tow package. That the brakes work pretty good at low speed, but if you're doing highway speed and you got to hit them hard, I mean, you really got to almost use 2 feet on the brake pedal.
Okay.
Is that, I guess my question is there a difference in the braking system between a truck with a tow package and a non-tow package?
Typically not, no.
If I don't think it would be in the trailer brakes to put new brakes on this thing before we started.
Okay, so real quick, let me get to the kind of how you actually should set those trailer brakes, etc. Let's just start from scratch. To anybody else out there listening, tune in, because if you tow a trailer, this is important. No, first of all, Mike, I think you're kind of borderline on the amount of weight that truck's able to handle. Now that's beside the point. We still should be able to make this thing stop if the trailer brakes are working like they're supposed to. So the first thing to do is what kind of controller are you using in the truck? Because there's a big difference in controllers that are on the market. What are you using?
Well, I'm sitting right here. I can go look. It's actually pretty old. When I bought this years ago, when I think I got my first trailer. Let me take a look at it here.
Is it a hydraulic unit, or is it 100% electronic?
No, it's electronic, and it's Toshica.
It's a Takancha. It's called Takancha. Okay.
Voyager, and it's pretty old.
Okay, the Voyager. That's okay. No, Voyager is a good unit. The Voyager is not a timer, which is good. The timers, really, what they do is they turn on, and within a few seconds, they apply full voltage to the rear on the trailer, and off you go. Yours actually has a pendulum in it, which needs to be adjusted properly. You'll have to go online, find the Voyager website, look it up, and figure out exactly how to set it. So first things first. So once everything is set properly, the next thing you need to do is go out on a, kind of a road with not a lot of traffic inside your neighborhood, however you want to do this, but you want to, go along about 10, 15 miles an hour, and then apply the brakes on the trailer fully with the controller and see if it will stop your truck without pushing the brakes on the truck.
Okay.
If it will, you have enough trailer braking. If it won't, you do not have enough trailer braking.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is either the controller's not putting enough voltage out, you got a problem with the brakes themselves, the magnets are getting weak, something along those lines. And that's where somebody that understands trailers and brakes and so on needs to go through and inspect to see with the truck to make sure voltages are proper, etc.
Yeah, I did put new brakes with the backing plate and everything on it last summer. That was my next question, if I should replace that controller or not.
And until you know what voltages are coming out the back, I mean, you should be able to have somebody in the cab put full, slide the lever over all the way up, and you should, as long as everything is set correctly, you should get full 12 plus volts out of the back.
Yeah, I did have some help when I was putting them on. I had somebody under the trailer checking that, but I can't remember what it was now. And I do believe I didn't check it with the controller. I was only checking it with the brake pedal.
Okay, yeah, check it with the controller also.
Okay. Another question would be, I adjusted these brakes like we used to do the old style manually adjusted car brakes. Is that the same way?
Yeah, on those drum brakes on that trailer, you want to get them to where they're just rubbing ever so slightly.
Right, or you can hear it.
You can hear them. Yep.
You can still turn the wheel.
That's exactly right.
Dragging a little bit.
You got it.
Okay.
Yep.
I've read a couple different articles on how to adjust the wheel bearings. I've heard some people say you need to tighten them up tight where you don't have any side lash in them. And I've heard other people say you should leave a little bit because...
Okay, the proper adjustment on a wheel bearing on a trailer like that, or even some of the older vehicles, again, this is another misconception a lot of techs didn't know either, is when that trailer is jacked up and there's no pressure on the wheel at all on the ground, with not with the wheel off, with the wheel and tire on, you should be able to shake it back and forth top to bottom ever so slightly. It doesn't need to be loose, but you should have a little bit of play in that wheel bearing with no load on it.
Right, that's kind of the way I have them adjusted. And
the old rule of thumb used to be, Mike, you'd tighten them up with with your pair of pliers, if you would, until everything was nice and tight, and you'd back them off until the first or second keyway, and that's typically where you had to be. But you can typically check a wheel bearing without even taking the dust cap off.
Yeah, the keyway is quite. I think there's only maybe two
notches.
Yeah, one of them's too loose, and the other one seems like too tight.
Let me tell you something on wheel bearings. Again, most technicians might argue with me on, but I have found over the years I'd rather see a wheel bearing too loose than too tight.
Yeah, I understand. Because
It gets too hot and burn up. So I've seen many a technician think, oh, I'll go one notch too tight versus too loose. And I've never seen a wheel bearing yet that was loose cause as many problems as one that's too tight.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
I got another question. When the brakes were all screwed up as far as the wiring on this, when I bought this, somebody had the wires all miswired.
Got it.
It took us a while to figure that out. But I did buy a new receiver, receptacle, whatever you call it, on the trailer and then also on the bumper end of the truck. And what I've noticed is if I leave that plugged in overnight into my truck, it runs my battery down on the truck.
Okay.
There's apparently a draw.
Yeah.
In the trailer somewhere.
Yeah, or somebody doesn't have the truck wired properly for the charging system on the trailer, because it should have a solenoid that when the key shuts off, it turns the power to the trailer off. If that's not wired correctly, that's the problem.
Yeah, I actually put the pigtail on because, like I say, this does not have a toe pack.
Got it.
But the one I bought had the pigtail attached where you just plug it into the wire loom in the back.
Okay.
Now, this is the second one I put on. The first one was probably about 7 years ago when I bought the truck. And this one actually has an auxiliary wire hanging out of the loom.
Yes.
And I think that's for a backup light, isn't that for the trailer?
No, that should be your charge wire for the trailer.
Oh, okay.
And that one should come on and off with the key.
Yes. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, other than that, I guess I haven't had too many other problems. The brakes did bother me a little bit because we took a about 3,500 miles.
Got it.
We took it this summer, mostly back east where it wasn't too hilly, but when you get out there on the interstate, and this truck is a little bit underpowered for this trailer.
It is.
It's only got a 4.8 in it.
You really, for the weight you're hauling, you really need a 3/4 ton truck.
Yeah, yeah. Now, according to the owner's manual, it's got a tow capacity of 7,500. I don't think I'd ever want to pull.
And that's at sea level too. Sea level on a flat surface, but you're not doing that up here.
Yeah, but I really kept my distance when I was
good
on
for
the
you.
interstates. And
Good for you.
like I say, if you had to stop fast, you had to have both feet on the.
We'll go through some of those adjustments, Mike, and see how that works out, and let us know back later on how that works. If you got any other questions, you're welcome to email us at john@drive-radio.com, or you can go to our website, drive-radio.com, fill out the contact us page. By the way, if you got questions you'd like to ask us, you're out and about, you don't have time to go to the phones, send us an email. I'll get those answered right on air. Again, john@drive-radio.com. All right, Bruno's got a driving story, it sounds like. Bruno, what's going on?
Yes, I was on the way from Denver to Seattle, and I taught my son how to drive. On Interstate 84, it was kind of the dawn. All of a sudden, 3 real huge bulldogs were in front of us, and luckily he jumped from the right side to the left side. Now, if he wouldn't have been on the right side like it's supposed to be, he would not have had anywhere to go because the elk was not there. And he would have been perforated because they would have come right into the windshield there.
Wow.
So it made him a real space driver to that extent. Everybody in his grade at school got into a wreck. He never did till today, and he's in the meanwhile.
Wow. That's good. Good story. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And another question, really quick.
Sure.
How do I go about that oil? What you guys push for the batteries? Because I have several.
Yeah, the Thermoil. We do now. A lot of our Colorado Select facilities are now carrying that. You can also find it at Quick Tread, one of our new sponsors, Ken and Mike, and their phone number is 720-588-9055. So either go to one of our local Colorado Select facilities or give Mike and Ken from Quick Tread a call, and they're stocking the product.
Oh, okay, that's great. All right.
Okay.
Another thing, I bought a 05 years ago now. Can you tell me anything out of the top of your head? If you say any intensities or anything weak points with that vehicle? It's got a 3.5 V6 in it. Like for instance, the spark plugs, are they relatively easy to get by, or is it a pain in the neck? the back ones, the three back ones, what's the firewall?
I haven't worked on that vehicle in particular. I'm going to ask Jeff, actually.
That that's kind of a tough one to answer because it seems like the last one, it didn't seem like it was a very tough deal. I think they give you an hour and a half or something like that.
Which isn't that big a deal.
But the other thing is on a lot of these new cars, you got to pull the intake plenum off to get to some of the plugs. So I'd have to look it up and see what the procedure is. But as far as I know, they're not really that bad of a plug change.
Okay. Since you have the transmission, any weak points on the transmission?
Great question.
Not really. They really haven't had too many issues like they used to in the past. Most of that's because of the electronic controls on them.
It's an 05. It's not brand new.
Yeah, well, 05 they were electronically shifted, so a lot of those issues were pretty well taken care of. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it.
Okay. Well, that's good that I have the phone number of the thermal.
Yes.
Yeah, no, and then those guys will take care of you. Like I say, a lot of the folks are now also in the how do I want to say this? A lot of our car select facilities are actually stocking the product also. Not all, but a lot of them are. And those spark plugs, Jeff, I did just look up. They're 2.5 hours to replace. So they're not too bad. I doubt that's an intake plenum change, but that's not just a walk in the park either, Bruno. So just make sure you've got all your tools handy, ready to go, and make sure you use the exact plugs the car came with.
Yes.
Which plug is that?
I don't have that in front of me, but just when you pull it out, make sure you're putting the exact same one back in. Same brand, same everything.
Oh, you mean the same brand of battery or the...
No, on the spark plugs on the Sedona, make sure you use the exact same brand of spark plug.
Oh, same brand of spark plug.
Yes.
With the manufacturer.
You got it. You got it.
A lot of times that'll be on the engine tag.
That's right.
It's got now 50,000 miles on it.
I change them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would change them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You betcha, Bruno. Thanks so much for listening. I do appreciate it very much. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got another caller who I don't have a name on my screen. So, guys, if you can put a name on there for me, that would be great. Or tell me here at the break. That would be awesome. Otherwise, we'll be back right after this. Don't go away. John Rush, Jeff Kitty, KLZ 560.
At Extreme Auto,
Bill's on line 3.
Responsible to our customers. Our highly trained technicians are ASE certified and are dedicated to providing you with world-class service. We have years of experience working on both domestic and import vehicles of all makes and models, and will work with you to find cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. We don't have hidden fees, and we don't do unnecessary repairs. Serving Parker and the surrounding areas, come and see us, the professionals at Extreme Auto, and rest easy knowing you'll get quality work done for a fair price. Our promise to you: extreme service, extreme value, extreme satisfaction. Call us to schedule your appointment today.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in northern Colorado? At Fort Collins 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4, located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at Fort Collins 4x4 are committed to providing the professional and personal service you're looking for. Give them a call at 970-482-5500, 970-482-5500. Check them out on the web at FortCollins4x4.com or follow them on Facebook at FortCollins4x4.com.
You packed your family of 8 in a 5-person car. Packed a week's worth of groceries into one bag. When your wife says the dishwasher's full, you just laugh. But are you up for the challenge when there's 20% off on the line? Pick up our exclusive 5-gallon Napa Camel bucket for just $2.99. Then get 20% off all the stuff you can fit in it. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Some exclusions apply. Offer expires 11/16/14.
I'm going to teach you right now how to find a good, honest mechanic. Ask about the warranty. Their warranty will tell you everything you need to know because their warranty is their word. And Colorado Select Auto Care Centers all offer the best warranty in the state. 3 years, 36,000 miles on every repair. Always select a Colorado Select Auto Care Center at coloradoselect.org. 3 years, 36,000 miles. That's all you need to know.
And we are back. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560. And I think I'll tell my story here after we get through a couple of these phone calls. So we'll go to, I think Bill's been holding the longest. He's got his own story. Bill, welcome to Drive Radio.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great.
Just a little sidebar on the gasoline stuff. You know, like I use the Shell all the time, and I just on my new truck managed to get through the crap that the dealer put in. And I'll tell you, it's the second car in a row. All of a sudden, about after a couple of gallons worth, it just shoots off. It's like a rocket ship.
That's good.
I don't know what the heck they put in it. I don't know if it's not the alcohol or what. But anyway, years ago, about 1973, 74, I was up in Greeley. We used to go from Greeley up 34th to Estes Park to Battle Lake.
Yep.
We go sliding down the side of the mountain. And I'm pretty sure there was probably 5 of us in the car. And I was going to pass. I would never do this again. I was going to pass the car, and coming east was a semi.
Mm-hmm.
And so what did I do? I went all the way to the left to the service road and passed the truck going on that at about 60 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Yeah.
That was years ago.
Yeah.
Don't do that stuff no more.
No, that's not good. You got to be careful of that.
But, well, that was the old days, you know.
Yeah, we were a lot more risky, or risk taking, I should say, back in those days. It goes with the age, I think.
Yeah. Right. That was about 20 years old.
There you go. You know what? The insurance companies know that too.
Yeah. Thank God they're not listening because my voice ain't hideable.
Hey, Bill, appreciate you calling in. Have a great afternoon. We appreciate it. Let's go to Jerry, who's next. And we get a line open 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right on. Jerry, what's going on with your truck?
Well, I've got an 87 Chevy 3/4 ton four-wheel drive pickup. I think it's got the Staggerman Muncie 465 manual transmission with the real low first.
Yeah.
But downshifting from third into second, it's just really hard. I mean, I'm suspicious maybe the synchronizer is not working right. Does that sound reasonable?
At what speed?
If I slow way down, I mean, way slower than I should have to, it'll finally pop. But I've just got to put a lot of arm into it.
Now, are you talking second gear as in?
Yeah, the real second gear. So, I mean, normally I take off a second. I don't use that granny low for hardly anything.
Okay. Right. That real second gear in that particular unit is, oh, heck, that thing's got to be almost 6 inches in diameter. It's not meant to downshift into very often at any
Has it changed
speed.
Yeah, it's gotten worse over the years.
It has gotten worse. And what fluid are you running in it, Jerry?
Oh, I'm trying to remember. I think it was 90 weight. I can't remember.
You can go to 2 different ways on this and try it a couple of different ways to see if it helps. One, you can run automatic transmission fluid in it. They have a tendency to leak a little more when you do that, but you can run ATF in it. You can also run a synthetic, you don't even have to run an 80-90. You can run a synthetic, 050 Mobile One, something like that, and see if that thinner oil doesn't help that. What you're trying to do is get that synchro to grab that slide, grab that gear a little bit tighter.
Stop the gear for
That's right. That's right. So, and the ATF will definitely help with that. In fact, some of those in later years came with ATF in them from the factory. That's why I know you can use that.
Okay, I've never heard that. I'll try that.
Yeah, and you may get a few more leaks out of it because it's really a thin fluid.
Yeah.
But it works, and it'll do the job. Trust me, it'll really work well when it's really cold out.
Well, thank you. Can I tell you about things that have changed my driving?
Yes, you can. Well, certainly.
So I've been driving for 42 years, and I've just seen so much crazy stuff. Trailers coming loose, tires coming off moving vehicles, items flying off of vehicles, instantaneous total tire blowouts, just insane road rage behavior, instantaneous total loss of brakes, wheel bearing seizing, sending the vehicle sliding, coming around the corner, blind corner in Mountain Canyon, driving big rocks in the middle of the lane. Vehicles stopped dead in the middle of the lane on a blind corner at night with their lights off.
Oh, man.
Vehicles driving the wrong way on one-way or divided roads. One of those, I was on 34 westbound out of Greeley, cresting a hill at 55 miles an hour. It was 2 lanes each way, and just as I crested the hill, westbound, a driver flew past me eastbound in the lane to my left.
Right.
And in my lane, it would have been hopeless.
Right.
Near head-on collision on Ravagers Pass. Somebody sliding around the corner into my lane on blind corner. I was following a truck one time on the highway, and for some reason, it started spewing diesel fuel into the air behind it, and it splattered all over my windshield. Large items falling off of overpasses, apparently maliciously dropped or thrown by people.
Wow.
Drivers running stoplights. One time I was on 34 eastbound at night, and a sheriff's deputy came blasting off the road to my right. He ran the stop sign. He had no lights on at all, and he was going so fast he slid sideways around the corner. I had to really take an evasive maneuver to keep him from T-boning me. Drivers at night without any lights on, drivers passing, on the crest of the hill. So anyway, what I've learned from all that is nobody's guaranteed their next breath. You just never know from second to second what's going to happen.
Well, you got that right.
That's for sure.
That is a fact. Boy, that's for sure. Yeah, and it sure teach you how to be a better driver in the process. So, Jerry, man, I appreciate it. Great comments, and let us know how that transmission works out.
All right, thank you.
All right, appreciate it very much. All right, one more caller before the top of the hour. Line's open, 303-477-5600. Jim, what's going on?
Yeah, I have a 2004 Tahoe with a left rear caliper problem because the inside pad is wearing at least twice as fast as the outside pad and twice as fast as the right rear pad. So is that more likely to be a pistons, or are they just a slide up of the caliper that's causing that?
Could be either or.
Could be either or. Most likely the piston. That's one of those. When we see that in our shop, we replace both calipers at the same time and make sure that those slides are well lubricated.
Okay. Let me ask you this too, because I'm only getting about 25,000 on that before I have that problem. And typically I don't get even 50,000 on those rear brakes, but I'll get like twice that much on the front pads. Does that sound like that's the way it should be? I should get twice the wear on the front as the back?
Not normally. Do you haul anything heavy?
Don't tow at all.
Then I would possibly be looking at portion belt. That's got anything like
it's all ABS stuff. So
ABS, so that wouldn't have anything to do with it.
The thing to do would be to make sure that all of the slides on the calipers, all the hardware. In fact, at this point, on an 04, I'd probably recommend putting new hardware on it. So put all new slides, hardware, get them all lubed up, freshen everything up, and see if that doesn't help make that better, because you're a little bit heavy on how often you're doing it.
Yeah.
I thought I should be getting a lot more wear on the back than on the front.
You should be.
Well, I've got a 04 Tahoe that we've got, and we've got 134,000 on it, and I've never had to replace the brakes. So
next thing, we're running up against the break, Jim. I apologize, but what I would say is get that thing in. Let's get it diagnosed also and see what's going on with it, because if it's got some issues, that way you want to get that looked at, make sure that things are being proportioned out correctly, that your right amount of braking is going to each wheel. In fact, somebody might even have to put some gauges on it and see exactly what pressures are at on each end to see exactly what's going on. And anyways, get in and do some diagnosis, because you're putting brakes on the back that way too often. All right, with that, we're going to come right back. Don't go away. News is coming up next. Sean Rush, Jeff Kitty, call us. Lines are open. We got them cleared out at that last hour. Call us. We'll get you right on air as we go into the next hour. 303-477-5600. Again, John Rush, your host. This is Drive Radio, the best car talk show in the entire country as far as I'm concerned, but definitely in the state. The most listened to, most called in. We'll get you right in there when we come back. We'll be back with this. Right after this, John Rush, host, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers, the independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select, hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Hi, this is Scott Watley. Join me every Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. for Sportsman of Colorado. Hunting, fishing, camping, guns, and ammo. We'll get you ready for the upcoming archery and muzzleloading seasons. Oh, and we'll also let you know where the fish are biting. Check out our website, sportsmanofcolorado.com. If you love the outdoors, you'll love Sportsman of Colorado. Sportsman of Colorado, Saturdays, 1 to 2 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
Hi, I'm Randy Mills with Revive 1787. And I'm Dan Muir with Revive 1787. Join us on October 26th for a Faith and Freedom evening with Navy SEAL Chad Williams.
And Jake and Tonto and Oz, heroes of the 13 hours they made Gaza. We kindle the patriotism of America's exceptionalism through the stories presented by Dr. Marshall Foster at the World History Institute.
At Revive 1787, we will edify and empower you with a story from an itinerant circuit rider all the way to the blessing of today's family. Revive 1787 in Castle Rock on October 26th.
Register now at revive1787.com. That's revive1787.com.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HDW. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560 on Crawford Broadcasting God and Country Station.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Dave Perkins.
So we have a virus on the loose that turns your organism to liquid. And the answer is to appoint a guy to do the message.
Charles Krauthammer commenting on the choice of Ron Klain, former assistant to Vice Presidents Gore and Biden, a political spin master with no medical expertise, as the Ebola czar.
This is like Obama saying, oh, yes, there's all the hammers are breaking loose all over the world, but this is because of social media, Twitter, and Facebook. All of us are more aware of it. This isn't a messaging issue. The issue is they have made the wrong decision.
Krauthammer on Fox News Special.
I believe it is the right policy to ban air travel from countries that have been hit hardest by the Ebola outbreak.
Texas Governor Rick Perry adding his voice to the chorus of calls for flight bans from stricken West African nations. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to the Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know, and Real News.
Say that again?
With original shows.
Yeah.
And Jay Stepper. Or if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
You've been listening to the Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560.
Freedom 560 with Ken Clark. Weekdays at noon on KLZ 560.
The mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king.
Orange took care of it.
Just a quarter mile, 13.40.
And the second hour of your Thursday show.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560 Drive Radio. Jeff Kitty's with me today. He is our resident transmission expert. So anything you want to talk about transmission-wise would be the data call. Be a great data call. It's always a great data call, but today especially 303-477-5600. Lines are full. As soon as somebody calls, will get you right on air. All right, another sponsor that I want to talk about real quick also is Paul Leuenberger. He's with American National Insurance, Chrome for short, is kind of what he goes by. Chrome Insurance Man, because he does a lot of older cars, street rods, that sort of stuff. But he does house. He'll do all your cars. He'll save you a lot of money. I can give him a personal testimony because he cut my homeowners in half, and I have better coverage when it's all said and done. In fact, Jeff, they're coming out this week to do an appraisal, and not really the appraisal like you'd think as far as values. They're going to come out and look at every square inch of my house, the way it's constructed, the interior finish, etc., and they put a little deal together to make sure that I have enough insurance to cover everything that gets, in case it burned to the ground. They want to make sure it's covered in every instance.
It's built back the way it was.
So good company. So I would recommend calling Paul if you need any insurance stuff at all, which everybody driving does. 303-619-9891. Paul Leuenberger, American National Insurance, great guy. He'll help you out, and that's where you need to go for all of your insurance needs. Let's go to Kenny, who is up next. Kenny, welcome. What's going on today?
I hear from you folks that when you buy a car, you should go have it checked out.
Correct.
When you check it out, do they look from bumper to bumper normally, or how do they do that? What would be the average price? I know you can't give a price,
sure,
but what kind of money would the person buying a car be looking at to have that inspection, if you will? And then after that, I've got one of those accident things.
Sounds fine. No, and it really depends on who's doing the pre-purchase and how they do it. Now, a lot of us when I had my shops, I had a system in place to where we literally had a check sheet that we went through and we filled everything out and we went through it. It was actually a program that we called the Certified Car Care, and we actually had a program we did where we went through it, checked everything off. Technician had to go through everything point by point. Most facilities do that. Now, I will tell you that not all do, and that's why there's a big range when it comes to what you're going to spend for a pre-purchase. And literally, you'll spend as little as $50 and probably as much as $300 getting a full pre-purchase done, depending upon what all is needed. This day and age, with late model vehicles and the advent of engine management systems, etc., the need to do a compression test, unless there's a miss or a problem with the way the engine runs, is not a big deal anymore. You can actually do put the scan tool on it and do some things that way and determine what's going on as much as you can with a compression test. So unless there's a real problem that way, and you think, which typically if it's got an engine miss, you're not going to be looking at it anyways, you can feel that for yourself. But to your point, yes, it's typically a bumper to bumper, and we look at things like, what's the maintenance been done like? How do fluids look? Is there a lot of oil leaks? If it's an off-road type vehicle, has it been off-road a lot? We can tell by looking underneath. Has it been driven on a lot of dirt roads? Has it been we call them pavement princesses? What does the vehicle underneath look like? You can tell a lot by a vehicle by just looking under the hood and under the entire assembly itself. You get the thing up on a rack and you look underneath it. You can tell a lot and tell how well somebody's maintained something, typically within about 10 minutes.
Thank you on that.
Now, that doesn't mean I can do a full inspection in 10 minutes, but I can get a pretty good idea. In fact, here's how we used to do this. If a car would come in, I know a lot of our Colorado Select facilities do it exactly this way, but Kenny, I'd spend a little more time on this because this is a great subject, by the way. In fact, Matt, this is one of these ones I was telling you we ought to be marking down because this pre-purchase stuff is a big, big deal. Every vehicle should have a pre-purchase before it's bought if it's a used car. But what we used to do, Kenny, is if a car would come in, we get it up on the rack and we were going to do full bumper to bumper. If we started looking through a few things and said, you know what, we've already seen that it's been wrecked, it's got this, it's got that, we might even stop mid pre-purchase and say, time out, call the customer that was looking to buy the vehicle and say, you know what, we've only got about halfway through this. We can already tell this is a vehicle you shouldn't buy. We'd stop, discount the pre-purchase, hand the keys back and say, go find another vehicle. So a good, honest shop will do that as they're going through the process.
But that's the dealer doing that. It's not the consumer doing that. Saying that is what I'm saying on that point.
That's right.
The consumer, now where I'm at is I've got a vehicle, I've had it, and I just want to maintain it and get it up to snuff. And it seems to me, wherever I go, they just want to diagnose the problem that's happening. And not what I really want. So my question is to have a complete inspection.
And that's exactly, you just asked that. You need to say, listen, guys, I want a complete bumper-to-bumper inspection. I'm trying to determine, am I going to keep this car, sell this car? I want a entire evaluation of what's going on with the vehicle so I can make a good decision on whether I'm going to keep this car or not.
And then fix the important problems quickly.
Yep. And then make a laundry list of everything else it needs and start checking through that as you go through the year.
And a lot of times we can recommend what needs to be done first,
right,
what can wait, and stuff like that. And at our shop, we try to put those in like a revision file. And then we have a part of our program that will call you and let you know it's possibly time to get this rechecked. That type of deal, and try and set up an appointment for you.
Now back to the accident thing. Now this affected me both as a driver and a pedestrian.
Okay.
I crossed the street one day to look at the traffic, and I got hit on a Saturday and woke up on a Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
And now when I'm driving, if I see people on the side, I really take extra notice of what they may do. Not saying they're going to do it, but they may do it. And I've avoided a few people because of that. And then as a pedestrian, I make sure I look 4 or 5 times each way before I cross because I don't want that happening again. So that's my story.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Great stories. Appreciate the phone call, Kenny. Let's jump over to, I think Mike was up next. Mike, welcome. What's going on with your Escape?
Oh, nothing. My escape is running fine since I took it to Larry's.
Good deal. That's what we want to hear.
If they couldn't get the code in when they had the machine, I just had to borrow my brother's scanner, find the code so I could tell them what the code said, and they went from there.
Yeah, I remember your vehicle, Mike.
Hey, it worked. It's working great. It's been 6 weeks, I think.
Awesome.
Yep.
So anyway, talked to you, Don, a while ago about the new Mustang motor.
Yes.
They're talking about cross-plane engine.
Yes.
Do you have any idea what they're talking about?
You know, and man, you're stretching my memory here, because right after we talked, I went on and did a bunch of research on that, and since then, I have not done it since. I would have to go back and do it all over again. I hate to say that, but I get so much stuff in my brain anymore. It's not in front of me. I can't remember it. It won't take me very long to refresh my memory.
You know, you'd think a four-cylinder would be every 90 degrees. Would be the firing. The only thing I was thinking about would be if they're having two pistons at top dead center at the same time, just at different parts of the compression, you know, and exhaust.
Right.
You know, I'm saying, like kind of like the Triumphs run, the motorcycle Triumphs that they run. Both pistons run the same way, except they're on the same journal.
Yeah, Harleys are that way too. Yeah, Harley Davidson does it exactly the same way too.
But okay, I'll call you back later when you can.
I'll research. In fact, through the break. In fact, you know, through some of these breaks, I'll even research it through the day. So I'll have an answer here I'm sure by the end of the show. I'll start researching. I did that, and again, I apologize. I have all that. You know, probably even in my notes further back, but that's actually been a while back. That wasn't just a few weeks ago. That's been a few months ago.
It's probably been 6 months.
Yeah, I got to go back and refresh my brain on that.
6 months starts motorcycle time.
That's right.
One of the reasons for my call. I had a bike 5 years ago, and I was hit twice in 8 months.
Wow.
One time I was going down to Deckers, and the lady lost control around the corner. I had her coming on my right or on my left, and it had a 100-foot drop off on my right, and her bike took mine down, and I tore a couple ligaments. 8 months later, Grandma's coming out of Target. She looks right, drives left, and I have nowhere to go.
Wow.
Her first response was, when I'm under the car looking at the engine, "Is he dead yet?" And she said she didn't see me. Well, you have to look my way to see me.
Right.
After my accident, I think back of the days when I grew up in high school up in Evergreen, coming down Bear Creek Canyon, no care in the world, as fast as I could, cutting corners. I just thank God I didn't take out anybody at that time.
Yeah.
And
well, that's true.
After my accident, I got me a new bike. I went and got the high-vis jackets.
Say that again? You got what?
I get the high-vis, the bright yellow jacket.
Got it. Okay. The high-vis you got. Okay.
When I picked up my bike in Seattle, within the first 3 hours coming home, I had 5 or 10 people start coming to my lane, and all of a sudden back off. Because they saw me.
Yep, they can see you. That's exactly right.
To this day, right now, I have 87,000 miles on that bike in 5 years and 5 months.
Wow. Good for you.
You don't ride that at all, do you, Mike?
No. Well, I put it this way. I'm not married, so I got to ride something.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right.
Hey, man, appreciate you calling in. Thanks so much. All right, with that, we're going to take a quick break. Don and Eric, hang with us. Don't go away. We'll be right back. This is Drive Radio. I'm your host, John Rush, with Jeff Kitty, KLZ 560.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each Colorado Select member currently offers Napa's Peace of Mind warranty, but are now also offering an extended 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty on repair work. You won't find this offer anywhere else. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-6272.
You use the motor oil Dad used, and he uses what Granddad used. Yet no one uses what great granddad used, because whale oil's illegal. But if oil's what you need, Napa has you covered. With Castrol GTX for only $3.79 a quart, or 5 quarts of the Napa Silver Filter for just $21.99. No hard crews needed. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. General state pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 11/16/14.
After 30 years of business, Geno's Auto Service expanded. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Geno's Auto Service in Milton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on auto repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Geno's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bolton Canyon, or visit us online at genosautoservice.com. That's genosautoservice.com.
Your car performs better when things are simple. And it's easy to see how the maze of plumbing under the hood can slow it down. A K&N AirTake system replaces the maze with a single custom engineered tube. The result? A guaranteed increase in horsepower, a dramatic increase you can actually feel. Visit K&N website to look up the extra horsepower available for your vehicle. K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
All right, we're back. John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560. One line open is all 303-477-5600. Let's go to Eric, who is up next. Eric and Thornton, welcome. What's going on?
Oh, not too much. I thought I'd call and weigh in a little bit on your earlier caller having challenges with tread brake controls.
Sure.
I actually used to install this stuff for a living. I'm a certified drop side tow pro, so I got trained on putting on the hitches, brake controls, all of it. And first thing I wanted to say is those hydraulic brake controls, hydraulic electric, anybody that's using those, I would highly recommend you get away from that and upgrade.
That's why I asked him.
Those things they were good at the time. But
that's what we had back in that day.
Exactly. And now you can get in some real trouble with them.
That's right.
They only have 4 points of control from no power to full power.
Correct.
So you have trouble balancing the vehicle.
Yeah.
The other problem is installing them on modern cars is very dangerous.
Yeah, they mess up the ABS system if you actually tap into the hydraulics on a later model ABS system. That's the other reason we don't use them.
Exactly. In fact, I heard of even more scary thought. If you tap in the wrong place and the anti-lock activates, and it pulses, the whole cylinder can't release the fluid.
That's right.
So it just keeps pumping up until it blows. And you pull brake fluid all over inside the car, fail the brake system.
Yep.
Bad news.
You are right, and that's partially why I asked him that, because if that's the case, it's but believe it or not, I still see a few of those things floating around.
I've seen a couple of them too, and now that I've been trained with what to work on, I try and stay away from those.
Yep, good idea. Good suggestion.
Now going forward, the electronic ones have evolved quite a bit. The first generation Takanchas, I believe, had 16 points of control on the pendulums. So it gives you 4 more points of control than you had, 4 times as many, excuse me. So you can balance the vehicle easier.
Right.
And most of the Takanchas that I worked with, I haven't worked with all of them, have 3 user controls. One to balance the pendulum, to calibrate it.
Right.
One to gain control, and then the one is to operate the brakes.
Correct.
So what you need to do, there's a procedure in the manual that shows you how to set the pendulum. And you usually do that on a level surface, adjust the knob, a light will come on, and that tells you the pendulum is initially set. Now, it's not perfect. That's your starting point.
Right.
Then you set the gain control per the instructions, and then you have to go for a little drive and adjust it. And if you need the brakes to be more aggressive, you adjust the pendulum just slightly, forward or backward, to give you the control you need for aggressive activity. And then you adjust the gain so you don't have the trailer drag in the tow vehicle.
Right.
So these are procedures in the manual that are very clear. Takancha did a great job in writing manuals.
Yeah, they did. No, they do, and that's very true. Yeah, and that's basically what we told him is that all the controller has to be set properly. But in his case, even if he's running it manual and doesn't have 12 volts going back to the brakes, he's got other issues.
Right, and that's another point to this. The Takancha controllers, a lot of them actually have diagnostic systems in them to help you.
Correct.
So if you connect the trailer and the circuit is open to the brakes, you will get an indication on the controller that there's no connection to the brakes.
Right.
Also, if they're shorted now, it will give you an indication telling you the brake circuit is shorted.
Right.
So that's a very helpful thing if you're paying attention to it. Another thing about this thing is it needs to be installed correctly. I've seen a number of them put in wrong. People like to put them where they're easy to reach so they can manually operate them.
Yeah.
But it's got to be installed so that it's level side to side, and the pendulum needs to travel in the same path as the frame of the vehicle.
Correct.
If you turn it sideways, the pendulum doesn't work right.
No, only if you're going around corners.
Yeah, exactly. So it's important to install it correctly, and it's important to calibrate it correctly. And the instructions are very good to help you out.
Yeah. No, and by the way, just to step in, Eric, all that stuff is available on their websites, by the way, also. If you've lost a manual, you can go on there and find it.
Absolutely. I just actually found that particular manual myself. I did a Google search on Takancha Voyager brake controller. So at the Takancha page, the controller came up at the bottom of that page. There's a link for instructions. You click on that, you get about a 6-page manual on that unit.
Perfect.
So hopefully that'll help the user out.
Perfect. Great, man. Appreciate you calling in, Eric. Thanks for listening. Appreciate that very much. Let's go to, by the way, lines open 303-477-5600. Don in Littleton, you're up next.
Hey, John.
Hey, what's going on, Don?
Well, I just wanted to call and thank Jeff and Larry for helping me out with my clutch last week.
Awesome.
Not a problem, Don.
They surfaced my flywheel and treated me real fair, and shoot, those guys have forgotten more than I'll ever know about clutches.
I don't know about that.
No, they got me in good shape. I'll be able to put that clutch in and have it live for a long time.
Yeah, that's good, Don. I really appreciate that.
How far along are you now, Don, on your project?
Well, the transmission's done and the clutch is done. Now I'm going to hit the engine. That's the next step.
Very cool. So you're making good headway then.
Oh, I think by the time I'm 80, I'll have it done.
You'll have it done sooner than that. I would bet by next summer you'll be driving.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
I bet you will. You got a good 6-7 months. I think you'll be all right.
Yeah.
If it's a cold winter, it might go faster.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right. I got heat in my shop, so I can work.
There you go. Hey, Don, appreciate you calling.
Oh, sure. I got a good accident problem.
No, go ahead. Go for it. We're fine. We got lines are getting answered by Larry right now, so we got time. Go for it.
Oh, well. When I was a kid, I was driving home from school from Fort Collins one time and fell asleep on the Valley Highway, and I woke up when the front wheels left the road, and I was staring right square at the end of a guardrail. Fortunately, I was able to crank the wheel quick enough to miss the guardrail, but it caught my back bumper. And the problem was that I would get real tired late at night, and you'd roll the window down and stick your head out or run the radio up as high as it would go.
Yeah.
None of that stuff really works. But the thing that works, and what I've always done since then, is I just put a kitchen timer in the glove box. And when I'm tired, I just pull over and set that timer for 15, 20, half hour, whatever I can spare.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you wake up, you're good for hours.
Yeah. I do exactly the same thing, Don. That's a great. When I get to it, it's like, okay, I gotta stop. I pushed it as far as I can push it.
Oh yeah.
If I get it, even just you'd be surprised what 30 minutes can do. Just the resting and getting your eyes shut. You're not going to go to sleep in 30 minutes, but just having that power nap or whatever you want to call it is a huge relief.
Oh yeah. And as a teenager, I push it too hard, but teenagers only use about half their brain, and I think I probably only use 10% of mine. Well, I learned the hard way. I got an old kitchen timer in the glove box.
That's good. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Pleasure to talk with you.
You too, Don. Thanks for calling, man. I appreciate it very much. What were you going to add to that, Jeff?
Well, I was just going to say, you get on these road trips and stuff. It's not a bad idea to get out about once every couple hours and just walk around the vehicle and get the blood flowing again and stuff like that, because you get in that mode where you're just driving.
And I will say that the newer modern vehicles, I know not everybody's driving them, but let's face it, most everything, average age on the road today is 10, 11 years old, which means everybody's driving a 2003, 2002 or newer. And boy, are they much more comfortable, Jeff, to drive today than they were the 10 years previous to that.
Oh, yeah.
Makes it a lot easier driving, a lot less strenuous. This is what I'm trying to get at, driving. And doesn't mean you shouldn't pay attention and watch what you're doing. You still need to do all of that. But anyways, all right, we get one in real quick before we go to break. Let's go to John, who's up next up in Windsor. He's got a Dakota. What's going on, John, with your Dakota?
Hi, guys. Love your show. I just wanted to chime in about some accidents that I've been involved in.
Sure.
Change the way that I drive. I got 3, actually. And I'll try to be brief.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. You're fine.
The first one that really changed the way that I drive, I had a 1986 Ford F-250 that I rebuilt the engine. It was a 460 F-250 transmission, and my buddy had a body shop, and he painted it. Just beautiful. Had it for a couple of years that way, and I lived in Fort Collins at the time, and I was trying to cross Shield Street, one block north of Fort Street at rush hour, and so I was going east, and the traffic was really bad, and someone stopped to let me through on the southbound lane, and I didn't even think about looking to the northbound lane, and I just went right across, and a lady in a brand new Subaru T-boned me.
Oh.
And luckily, the pickup was a heavy-duty 3/4 ton, so I wasn't hurt at all. Her car was totaled, and I felt just horrible about the whole deal. She wasn't hurt. She had a baby in the car that wasn't hurt. I never, ever crossed an intersection when someone stops for me to let me through. Just because of that.
Yep.
You know,
that's a good story.
Yeah. Next one, I had and this is a motorcycle story, and frankly, I think the idea of owning a Harley is better than actually owning a Harley. I got bit by the bug about 5 years ago, and I bought, not about eBay actually, I bought just a beautiful 2002 Sportster, pearl white paint, just gorgeous, had this Green Eagle package. It was a 1200. Just really, really fast, and I had it about 2 years. I never really felt comfortable on it out in traffic. I got ran off the road a couple times. I never wrecked it. And of course, the whole Harley mystique is, you don't wear helmets. And so, I didn't wear a helmet, and like I said, I never really felt comfortable on it. And I was not on it when I saw this happen. I was in my pickup, but I was living in Linder, that's when I lived in Linder, and I came up on 257 and Eastman Kodak Parkway. That's a big,
right, it is. Yeah.
And I lived right there, right where the tornado went through. And I was going somewhere. I think I was going to Eaton or something, and I saw there was a guy on a sport bike in the intersection waiting to turn, and he got T-boned by a gal in a little Toyota car. I don't know what kind it was. He went flying over the car, and I read in the paper there was a bunch of people at stop sign stop, but I was a ways away from it. But that was a fatality, and because I didn't feel comfortable on my bike and seeing that and being a single dad, I just decided that, I think maybe the Harley can wait until after my daughter's grown up and on her own, and I just don't need to be killed on a motorcycle by somebody that doesn't look.
Yeah.
So anyway, I sold that. Okay, so the third story I have is I'm in Denver High School sweethearts, and they had a bit of a falling out around the end of when they graduated, and my dad went off to college, and my mom stayed in Denver, and they hadn't seen each other for a couple of years. My dad came home he was going to CSU at the time. He came home from CSU, and they lived in kind of downtown on down the street. Both of them did, and he happened to be driving by her house. Wasn't planning on going to see her or anything, but drove by her house, and she had been rear-ended. She bought a brand new 64.5 Mustang and got rear-ended in it by a drunk driver, and closed the car, screwed her back up. Her back is still messed up. She's had two spinal fusions since then.
Wow.
And but that accident actually, he stopped because the car was so mangled, and he stopped and knocked on the door to see if she was okay, and they ended up getting back together and getting married, and then there I was.
Right on.
Yeah, so
good story.
Yeah, I like to tell that story, but I've got an 01 Dodge Dakota. It's got 184,000 miles on it. It's a 5-speed, 4.7 liter bus truck. It's been with me through good times and bad times, and I don't ever want to sell it. I'm kind of at the point in my life where I've got some income coming in, some extra income, and I'd really like to hear what you guys think about what I can do to it, that I can, freshen it up, make it have some more power, and see what the limits of the motor are as far as what I can do to it.
Okay. What year again was it? 01?
It's an 01.
What engine?
4.7.
4.7. There's not a ton you can do on the 4.7. There's, you can do exhaust work, of course, cold air intake, of course, they make for it. There's some power programmers that were, somewhat effective, but on an 01, not highly effective. So there's really, unfortunately, not a ton you can do with the 4.7s.
Okay. What about pulling the motor out and blowing it out a little bit?
Good question. That's a Mercedes engine. And I am not that familiar with anybody hyping up, the 4.7s. I don't know too many hot rodders doing anything with those 4.7s. I wish I could tell you more about it, but I don't know too many guys doing stuff with that engine. I just don't know that much about that side of it.
And that's kind of an expensive engine.
It is.
There's a lot of money up in the front end of that in the timing chain area.
Really?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just, just for grins, I'm going to Google it real quick and just see what comes up. And I'll bet you if you look around, you might find some Jeep guys or somebody like that are doing some stuff. But I was in that world for a very, very long time. And, we had guys with 4.7s come in. There just wasn't a lot we were doing even back then. Just because of what it was. To just point, the other thing was it was a very, very reliable engine. I don't want to take anything away from it. It's a very, very reliable, strong engine. But because it was a Mercedes type engine, there just wasn't a lot of things in the aftermarket you could go do to it.
Okay. Well, so knowing that information, which I guess doesn't really make me all that happy, but so it's got 185,000 miles on it. What can I expect?
300 plus.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and frankly, I can't really tell the difference between the power that it's got now compared to when I drove it off the lot.
That's why they were such a good engine. That was a double overhead cam engine. Again, they were a really strong engine. I'm not taking anything away from it at all. I just don't know of that many people doing hop-up parts for them.
Okay.
Yeah. The big thing on that is make sure you do your oil meets.
Right.
Okay.
That's the weakest link in there. You got to keep the oil changed in it.
Okay. What about you said that there was a lot of money in the front end, would I need to necessarily worry about the timing chain?
No, those are good for a very long time. Like I said, that's a good solid engine. That's partly why we never messed with them much, is because you just didn't need to do much to them. And so, other than normal maintenance, they really weren't. They really didn't need anything.
The only problems I've seen on them has been poor maintenance issues.
That's right.
Okay. Well, I try to keep up on it as best I can, and it doesn't leak oil, it doesn't burn oil. It still gets on the highway. It gets about 18 miles a gallon.
The only other thing on that, and we got to go to a break here real quick, John. The only other thing you might look around for, and again, it's been several years since I've done much with those 4.7s, is there may be some guys doing some superchargers. I don't know. That'd be something worth looking at, but that's not going to be a cheap endeavor. So if you've got some extra cash and you can save up and do that, that definitely would be worth something looking at, or be worth looking at if somebody makes one for it.
Okay, I can take a look at that.
Okay.
Just real quick, what would that do to the longevity of the engine?
It's going to reduce it some, but at our elevation, if you keep the boost below 7 psi or so, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
You're basically putting it back to what it would be at sea level.
Okay. Yeah, I would be very careful with it because I am right now. I really like it. I want to keep it. So.
And again, I don't know if anybody makes one or not. You'll have to just look and see.
Okay, I will do that.
All right, John. Appreciate the phone call with that. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. Lines are filling up. One open, 303-477-5600. We got a transmission question coming up for Jeff as soon as we come back, so stay with us. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Avada West Auto, we know that fluids are the life of your vehicle. They are also complicated with all the different types from
Don't think.
Intervals can vary widely. Let us help you sort out what your vehicle needs and when it needs to be serviced. Stop in or call us at Arvada West Auto, 11752 West 64th Avenue, 303-422-1065. You can visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select auto care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
Napa supports the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. And this month, we're making it easy for you to show your support too. Make any $25 purchase, and you'll receive a free Napa Camo racing cap. For every cap we give out, we'll donate $1 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, supporting those who serve you. That's Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores, while supplies last. Offer expires 11/16/14.
A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every auto repair says so much more than if it's not right, we'll try to fix it again. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty tells me that this is a master mechanic who's confident, who knows what they're doing. I mean, nobody offers a warranty like that, right? Colorado Select Auto Care Centers do, and only the members of Colorado Select offer a warranty this good. Find a mechanic who's a member of Colorado Select Auto Care at coloradoselect.org.
All right, John Rush, Drive Radio, and on the Mustang, all I've been able to find for all of you that are listening out there wondering, what I was supposed to have done with that info that I should have remembered better, but I'm getting old, so I didn't remember it. The 2.3 engine in the 2.3 liter engine in the new Mustang makes 305 horsepower, and what they're doing is they're separating out the exhaust side of things, 2 inner cylinders, 2 outer cylinders, to help spool up the turbo differently, which gives it a lot more power, a lot more instantly. So the synopsis here is delivering 2 separate exhaust streams to the turbo preserves pulse energy for quicker torque delivery when the driver needs it for passing maneuvers, and similar performance to a twin turbocharged configuration, but it's still only a single turbocharger. But 305 horsepower out of a 2.3 engine, that's pretty good power out of not a lot of engine, not a lot of cubic inches, I should say. So I'll keep researching that and see what else I find. But anyway, that's it for now. 303-477-5600. Call us, and we'll get you right on air. One line open. Larry, you're up next. What's going on with your transmission?
Hi, I have an 04 LS430 Lexus and 132,000 miles on a run straight, drive straight. Everything's fine. But if the last few months, 2 to 3 months, if I'm trailing throttle going down a hill, and like for instance, I'm getting going a little faster than I want, or I'm gaining on a guy in front of me, if I just touch the brake, the transmission will downshift 2 or 3 gears. Just instantly. And it will hold that gear until you have the road levels off, whatever. It will hold that lower gear until you give it enough throttle to accelerate. If you're just maintaining a balanced speed, it'll run in that lower gear for miles. And I've never heard of such a thing.
Jeff, you're the resident training guy. What do you think?
Well, I know GM has used that on some of their Allison tow packages.
This on the Lexus, though.
I got to be honest with you, that's the first time I've ever heard that. But I would definitely probably confer with the owner's manual and see if that's the way that's supposed to act.
Well, it never has before. I've driven it since 89,000 miles, and it's my second now it has.
And what my deal to that is that it could be the possibility that you have some sort of a sensor, or it could be a computer issue on that particular one. It could be creating that issue for you, and it's just sending the wrong signal to the transmission. Have you got any check engine lights on or anything like that?
Never seen a check engine light on this car ever.
Okay. It might not be a bad idea to maybe put a scanner on it and take a look at some of the parameters. on that and see what's going on. Maybe you got something that's just getting a little wore out from mileage.
132.
Well,
My last LS, I drove to 300,000.
well, yeah, but I mean, it could be something that's
So it could be
failing.
something that's failing. Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why.
Well, let's back up. Something's going on, or it would not have changed. I mean, common sense tells us in our industry that if you're driving it for 89,000 miles, everything's been good, and now all of a sudden there's a change. Either there's something that's gone wrong electronically speaking for the command side of the fence, or there's something internal that's not sending the right signals back out to where it can then react properly to control it like it should be.
It could be a speed sensor. It could be, half a dozen different things that would create that problem.
Yeah.
Again,
it doesn't happen unless you tap the brake. And I'm not talking about, slowing down, but just tapping the brake. And instantly you're down to 3 years.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if you would like,
You're in Longmont, which isn't that far away.
I could, if you'd call me Monday, and give me the VIN number of your vehicle, I'll do some research on it and see if I can figure out what might be going on.
Okay. Great, give me a phone number.
303-427-2108. And be sure you ask for Jeff.
Okay.
And I'll need a VIN number.
Yep.
That way I can see if there's any TSBs or anything like that out on it.
All right, very cool.
All right, Larry, thanks for calling. We appreciate it very much. All right, let's get one more call squeezed in before our break. Things got out of whack a little bit there, but we'll get them back on track. Joe up in Cheyenne, what's going on?
Well, I have a question about transmission flush. I used to take it to the service station there in Cheyenne, and it's a 2006 Kia Sonata, and it has about little over 250,000 miles on it. And the people there said they will not flush it because of the mileage. Is that correct, or what am I thinking there?
Well, here's the deal. Okay, if you flush it and you have a problem,
you already had the problem anyways.
You were going to have the problem anyway. You just cleaned it up and created, possibly an internal leak or whatever. But that problem was laying in there waiting for something to happen.
Okay, there's no problem with the transmission right now at all.
Yeah, if the fluid's clean, pan's clean, everything indicates that everything's okay, I'd go ahead and flush it. If it fails after that, I mean, you were going to have a problem. Whether, you're just going to have a problem.
That's right. And we used to tell people the same thing, and a lot of our shops do now. I mean, if you were in our shops, we'd say, listen, here's your options. We can flush it. If we do, there is a risk, but the reality is it's shifting well now. Things are working good. The fluid's good and clean. It's doubtful you're going to have any issues, so flush it and off you go. I wouldn't worry about it. I'd flush it.
You flush it then?
Okay. Yep. They won't flush it. Drive down to Fort Collins. Now the guys up in Fort Collins 4x4, they'll flush it for you.
Okay. I'll look them up on the web and get their number down.
All right, sounds great. Appreciate it. Yeah, and their number, by the way, I know this one off the top of my head because I owned that store for a long time. 970-482-5500. Call those guys up there, Ross. He's the owner. Give him a call, and he'll get you in to get taken care of. All right, Matt, let's take a quick break. We'll get back on track. Mike and Brett, stay with us. One line open is all, 303-477-5600. We'll be back here on Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, along with Jeff Kitty, KLZ 560.
Wow. Is that an angry monkey screaming at you? Nope, it's your windshield wipers. And they're literally crying out for you to replace them. Lucky for you, Napa now has 30% off select visibility products. That's 30% off wiper blades, headlight bulbs, and more. So cut all the monkey business and conquer the job with Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 10/31/14.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in Boulder? At John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expert expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4, located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet 1. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Or are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer. All right, we are back. John Rush, Drive Radio. Jeff Kitty from Larry's Transmissions, or Automotive, I should say, but he's our resident transmission guy, which we're going to jump right to in just a moment. Mike, hang with us. We'll get to you in just a moment. Brett, you're first. What's going on with your truck?
Hey there. I got a 2010 Chevy half-ton Silverado 4x with a 5.3 liter. Coming out of the driveway and stuff like that, or in the parking lot, if I'm turning, it's like the suspension or whatever make binding noises, you know. I didn't know if that was a common noise that they make, or...
No, it's not. None of those have actually been pretty foolproof. They've got a nice coil spring suspension in the front of those trucks, and they really have not been a real big issue. So if you've got some squeaking and binding type noises going on, something's not right there, and I'd have it looked at.
Yeah, okay, but that's...
Yeah, no, those have been actually a very reliable sound. In fact, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, all their late model suspensions now and all the half-ton trucks are released. They're all very similar in how they're built, and they all work very well.
Yeah, okay. Well, I appreciate the info.
All right, get her looked at, because that one's noises are tough over the phone.
Oh, they are.
They're tough in the shop, nonetheless, over the phone. All right, line's open, 303-477-5600. Call us with anything you've got, questions, or a driving story that changed the way you drive now. Let's go to Mike, who's next. Mike, what's going on with your Lexus?
Well, actually, I was calling in reference to the gentleman who called about his transmission.
Perfect. Okay.
Down on hills.
Perfect.
We have a 2002 ES300, and it has done that from day one. So I think it's built into the car. It's really handy. If you hit the brakes while you're going downhill, if you don't hit the accelerator, it's just down and just stays there. So it's handy. You don't have to.
What's weird on this one though is that it sounds like in the other gentleman's case, Larry's case, that it just now started doing that. So what's weird is did driving habits change, or that's the part that's odd, is why now the change?
Maybe you just noticed it. I don't know. Because we've had our car serviced regularly, and we only have about 130 on it. Never any problems, but yeah, it's been from day one.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, and again, I think Jeff had a great idea. We'll at least get his VIN number, do some basic checks, and kind of see if we can figure out if anything is out there on it, and go from there. But that's great information. I appreciate you calling in. I drive a lot of new cars, drive a lot of new Lexuses. I love them, but I never get a chance to drive them much at 130K. So,
well, that's exactly.
So I appreciate you calling in and updating us, Mike.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Great, I appreciate that very much. Yeah, it's always tough. I drive a lot of new cars. In fact, I'll give a little plug for that real quick. You go to our website, drive-radio.com. You can also go to YouTube, type in the search bar, Drive Radio, all one word. We have tons of car reviews and now also video reviews. In fact, I'm switching the majority of them. I shouldn't say majority. All the new reviews are being done via video. Sometimes I put a little blurb on the website. That takes time. I can do the videos actually much faster and get more information out than I can actually writing it because I'm a talker, not a writer. So it's much easier for me to be videotaped and walk around the car and show you all that's in it. So go there, look at all the reviews. You can go to our website, drive-radio.com. There's a link to our YouTube channel there. And I just reviewed a Honda Fit and a Range Rover. So it's two ends of the spectrum. I went from Honda Fit, which is the new little versatile little four-door car. They've got subcompact. They average 42 miles a gallon. Great little car, by the way. All the way to the Range Rover long wheelbase supercharged $122,000 vehicle. So I went from about $18,000, Jeff, to $122,000. And here's the thing about it: they both got me from point A to point B. One was just a lot more comfortable than the other. But watch those reviews. I'll have them up this week. In fact, I'll put them up this weekend. You'll be able to see those along with all of the other reviews that we've got. We have tons of viewers, tons of minutes watched. Lots of you go to the website and look at that. I appreciate that very, very, very much. Believe me, I do. And those are both great cars that I drove, and you'll want to see about those. So, Dave, you're up next. Let's get you in before the top of the hour. What's going on, and what question do you have on power programmers?
Well, I got this 06 Jeep that I've been toying around with, and I got some bigger tires on it, of course. I got 33s, nothing too fancy.
Okay. And what Jeep, what are you driving? What Jeep, what?
It's a Jeep Wrangler.
Okay.
It's an 06 Rubicon.
Okay, JK. Yep.
No, LJ.
Oh, it's an LJ?
LJ.
Okay.
Everybody says, well, you need to re-gear it. Yeah, okay. I got the 456s in there.
Okay.
But it's kind of low on power, when you're going up the hills. And I heard you talk about power programs once before, I believe. And, is there anyone better than another?
I like the Super Chips brand the best, and they're actually the same as Super Chip and Edge are all the same company now. The problem with the 06, and I forgot that's not a JK, that's 1 year before that.
Yeah.
There's not a lot you can do programming wise on that vehicle with the 4-liter.
That's what I thought. That's what I heard too.
There just isn't. We were doing those. You could do a piggyback unit versus a programmer. You do a piggyback unit, you can do a bigger throttle body. The reality is, it was minuscule for the amount of money you spent in what you got out of it. The best option for that, I'm going to give you a little tip here. And I believe they still have this. Call John's 4x4 up in Boulder. That's my old store. I believe they still have a supercharger for one of those that came off of a vehicle that we took off of when we sold it.
Oh, really?
And it's a good unit, and it's strong, and it adds 100 horsepower, and it makes that thing come alive.
I heard that was an option as well, a turbo or a supercharger.
And this one, I guarantee you, they'll do you for the right money, and I believe they still have it. Call Craig on Monday, 303.
Let me get a pen.
Sure.
Okay, 303.
303-449. 2640. I'm pretty sure they still have it.
And Craig?
Craig Wallace is the manager there. He'll know all about what I'm talking about. Telling you to talk to me on the radio show. You're interested in the supercharger for the 4-liter, and telling him to make you a deal and get it put on.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Sounds great.
All right, and believe me, that's the best thing to do on those. They work fantastic. It makes you think you're driving a new Jeep when you're done.
All right.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right, Dave.
Thanks.
Appreciate it very much. All right, let's go to Alan. Who's next? Last call before the top of the hour. And Alan, what's going on?
2000 Lincoln LS, 140,000 miles, and there's no dipstick on it or anything else. I'm concerned about the transmission.
That's one for Jeff. He's going to answer that one for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling.
Yeah. I would go ahead and service it if that's your question. Is it working okay?
Yeah, it seems to be fine. I'm just, it was recently acquired, and I don't know what kind of history it had or anything, so I'm just concerned about the maintenance on it.
So you kind of want to get a baseline on it.
Exactly. Well, I know at least new fluids can't hurt anything.
No.
Just have just drop the pan and there's a filter there and just refill it. I guess there's a couple of ports on the side of the transmission that you check the levels.
Yeah, if I remember right, there's on that one. I can't remember the exact model of the transmission on there, but there's either going to be a standpipe that's in the pan where you pull a plug out and the fluid runs out of it when it's full, and you pump the fluid in from the side, or you have to pull like a sensor out or whatever. We normally we use a flush machine and push the fluid into it as it comes out, so that way we keep the level at the right spot, and then drain it after it's done. The big key on that is it's got to be level, and it has to be at a certain temperature. And yeah,
like
it has to be at operating temperature to make sure it's full.
Oh, I see.
Yep. On that one.
Is it a different Ford transmission that was used in that model, or
well, it's a Ford transmission. It's just for whatever reason I can't give you a good answer on why they got rid of the dipsticks. It doesn't make sense to me. I see it on 4-wheel drives all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of the new stuff, I think they just don't want you, the do-it-yourself for looking at fluid.
Sealed up. They want them sealed where you're just not messing with it, is what they've done. Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of a developing trend.
That's right.
Like.
Yeah, exactly right.
It is.
All right, guys, appreciate it very much, y'all, and thanks for the call. We're up against a news break, which I do not control, so that one comes on its own, so we have to get out of here for just a moment. We will be back. Lines are open, 303-477-5600. Calls will get you right on air when I come back. I will give you our tech tips from our great friend and technician up in Idaho. He's got a couple of great tech tips. We'll share those with you when we come back, so don't go away. I am your host, John Rush, along with Jeff Kitty from Larry's Automotive over in Westminster, and we'll be back here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For a complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Freedom, liberty, truth. KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver.
Listen live at KLZ560radio.com.
KLZ 560.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Dave Perkins.
The appointment of Mr. Klain, who has no experience whatsoever on this or any other medical issue, is a lobbyist and a Democrat apparatchik, frankly, does not fill the bill.
Arizona Republican Senator John McCain adding his voice to the chorus of complaints about this election of Democrat spinmeister John Klain as Ebola czar.
Because he has no experience or knowledge or background in medicine.
No medical background, no crisis management. Klain's highest credential, former chief of staff to Vice President Joe Biden. Ferguson police officer Darren Wilson in hours of testimony with the FBI. Information coming out of that testimony includes 2 shots fired inside the police car during a struggle for the gun, one of them striking Michael Brown. Brown's blood on the gun, the car, and Wilson's uniform. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
You've been listening to the Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560. Randy Corcoran at 5, Laura Ingram at 8, Monday morning on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60, 7.5. She did a quarter mile, 13.20. 390 horsepower. 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance can be taken of his own body.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
And it is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, with Jeff Kitty from Larry's Automotive over in the Westminster area. I do have let's take a couple of announcements. Let's do those first. We'll get those out of the way. Our sponsors, which, as you all know, Isaac Bouchard, he's our local broker, 303-475-1462. He's the guy to call if you're looking to buy, sell, thinking about either you're going to add a vehicle, you're looking for a used car, you want to know what to buy, you name it, Isaac is the guy, 303-475-1462. Once you buy it, you need to insure it or insure what you're already driving. Paul Leuenberger is our resident insurance guy, American National Insurance, 303-619-9891. I talked about in the first hour how Paul's already saving me half on my homeowners. He doesn't do just automotive. He does homeowners, your cars, your boats, your RVs, your motorcycle, you name it. Whatever you've got that you need insured, Paul can take care of you. And then our resident local tire guys. So we have somebody we've teamed up with that can put tires on in your driveway, at home or at work. They don't, or you can have it done through one of us at our Colorado Select facilities, however you want to do it. Quick Trade is the name of the company. Ken and Mike are there, 720-588-9055, and they can get virtually any tire that you want. If you've got a question of just on, what to buy, it's wintertime. Do I buy a snow tire? Do I buy an all-season? Call those guys. They'll walk you through it. They'll help you out with that. And their prices are going to be as competitive as anywhere else you go and buy tires. We know because Jeff and I both use them. And it's a great company. They do a great job. And again, they'll do everything right on site. And they do a fantastic job of doing that. So Quick Trade, Ken and Mike, 720-588-9055. Lastly, I don't say this as much as I should. If you like our show, you like what you hear here on Drive Radio, please go out and support our sponsors. All the ones that I just mentioned, plus K&N Engineering, plus Napa Auto Parts, plus all of our Colorado Select facilities. Go in there, use those guys, find a location near you at coloradoselect.com and let them know that you listen to Drive Radio. Lastly, if you want to help us on this show and you like what you hear and you can become a sponsor, hey, we'd love to have you. If you want to come on here, be a partner with us, come on air from time to time. And by the way, you could be selling something totally non-automotive. I don't care. That's fine by me. We have the largest automotive listening audience car show in all of Colorado, and probably, I would venture to guess, the Western U.S. might even be bigger than that. We have a very big listening audience. If you want to get great exposure for a product, for your services, let me know. John at drive-radio.com, and I'll help you out, and we'll figure out how to get you on air with us, and we'll make that happen, especially if it's something automotive related. We'd love to have you as a partner with us. Let's go to Eric, who's up next. Eric, welcome.
Hey, guys.
What can we do for you, Eric?
Hey, you had that guy call earlier with that soda.
Yes.
A couple thoughts for him. The soda one was like a play tuner, which will get, he'll get a little bit of power increase if he really wants to get into it. I was just getting online looking at some of the forums for the Dodge soda. There are guys with 4.7 that are running 2400 horsepower as a daily driver.
And what are they doing to do that?
Cam, exhaust, intake, whatever, whatever they've got to do. They are definitely a very reliable motor. Like that's one of his soda, 5.9 is high soda. But from most of what I've seen, it's a lot of tear down and rebuild for the minimum of cams and different intakes and different injectors.
Okay.
Those are the minimums. He would say he got 180 some thousand on it. Don't know if he switched trans. I don't think that's a 46 RE, and Justin probably back this up since he built my trans. Those trans are kind of rated somewhere in 125 to 160,000 mile range.
Yep.
If it's 46 RE.
I think he had a 5-speed.
Okay, yeah, so he should have manually. Yeah. Okay, but that's, yeah, I mean, I'm on a couple of the Dakota forums, and I hate to take a little two-wheel or four-wheel drive, and it'll take a little bit of a difference. The four-wheel drive, the transfer case is in there, depending on which one. If you get the all-wheel drive, the full-time four-wheel drive, it won't handle much more than 300 horsepower. If you've got the regular park time, it'll handle a little bit more power.
Okay. Good advice.
So that would be my suggestion. Like I know there's a bunch of guys online that have got some pretty good builds.
Yeah, that's one. And I just being honest, that's just not one we have. I've ever done much with, mainly because there just hasn't been that much available for them. Plus, it's been, it's the one thing you have to be careful of, and I would caution guys on the 4.7. It's a very expensive engine to go in and fix. So if you do stuff to it, just make sure you know what you're doing because it's not a cheap engine.
No. Yeah, and unlike the 5.9, which the 5.9 is 360.
It's a cheap engine. No, sorry, but it's not an overhead cam engine. It's a very inexpensive engine to work on.
Yeah, but I mean, that was what gave me the RT originally, and there was guys with RTs that did when they were spraying, it did very little to them. And if they took the RT part off, they would scare some people. Because they get some, they would light them up very easily.
Right.
And there are a lot of expenses.
Right. That's good advice. That sounds great.
That's just my suggestion.
All right, appreciate it, Eric. Thanks for calling in. 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. We started off the show talking about give us your experiences in driving where you've actually been involved in an accident, seen an accident, been around an accident that changed the way you drove. So I'll give you my story real quick, and I've got a tech tip from David after that. I probably wasn't, Jeff, more than, I'm not sure I was even, I'd have to go back and remember, ask my dad. I don't remember if I was driving yet or not, but I think I was just getting ready to start driving. I was working on my car out in the garage, and my dad and I together, and actually we had a friend over that night that was kind of helping us with some stuff. And as a kid, I built Camaros and did all sorts of fun stuff. We were out in the garage working on stuff, and I think I was almost ready to start driving, and we were working on stuff, etc. And I may have even been driving, I don't remember, but I was if I was driving, it was just at the edge of, not quite 6. I don't think I was quite yet 16 is what I'm trying to get at. And we lived out in the country back then, a little 2-lane road we were off of, actually Base Lane Road up in Boulder, if people are familiar with that. And we're kind of out there working on the car, and it's kind of nice and quiet, and and the crickets are chirping, and it's about 10 o'clock at night, 9:30ish maybe. And all of a sudden we hear this big, loud, somebody's getting on the engine and they're running about as fast as you could think this thing can run. All of a sudden we hear this, bam, screech, stuff flying, you name it. And we're like, uh-oh, that didn't sound good. We quick hightail it out, and at that point in time, my dad's house, we were only about I don't know, probably a couple hundred yards off of Baseline Road at that point. So we go running over there to where this accident was, and of course it was an accident. And what had happened was a couple of kids, and there was another kid in the back seat. They were driving a pretty hopped up Chevy too, running down Baseline in the left lane, passing cars. And about that time, a van that was, let me think about this. So they're in the left lane going about as fast as they can. And about that time, a vehicle on the other side, basically a van was turning left into them, basically trying to make a left-hand turn. They're in the left lane buzzing by. They tagged the back of this van. And in doing so, it puts the engine in the front seat on this Chevy 2. I'm not exaggerating. No. This was a bad wreck. A couple of the kids died. Wasn't a good deal at all. So we're out there, we're watching all the stuff go on. My mom gets the back then cell phones didn't exist. So my mom gets the grand duty of the officer, handing her the note to go call the parents of the kids so they could meet them at the hospital. Because that's how you did things back then. We didn't have cell phones and other ways to communicate. So she goes in, calls the parents, telling them they need to go down. There's been an accident, blah, blah, blah. Meantime, we're watching them get all these kids, into the, gurneys and all those different things. And the entire time we're looking at this is not a good situation at all. They get everything done. They get it all cleaned up. And still vivid in my mind is the firemen then at the very end get the hoses out and they wash down the street. And it's red. Totally red. They're literally washing the blood off of the street from these two kids that were in the front seat that I don't think either one ended up making it. And there was actually a disabled boy in the back seat that how in the world he lived, I have no idea. But I think he was fine. He did. The engine, I'm not joking, on the Chevy 2 ended up in the front seat. To this day, you will rarely ever see me passing somebody on the left-hand side unless I can see for a really long ways who's coming, whether that be a 2-lane road, 4-lane road, what have you. After watching what happened that night, did that change how I drove and make sure I never passed anybody on the left? It sure did. Yep. So, yes, those stories resonate with us, and that's why when they do, driver's ed, and they show all those videos to the young drivers, etc., there's nothing like being in real life and watching one of those and seeing the impact that it has, because it's a major impact on your mind and watching from that point forward. So if there's anything else you want to share along those lines, stories you've got, I'm going to do David's tech tip as soon as we come back. Don't go away. We've got lines open, calls. We'll get you right on the horn, 303-477-5600. I'm your host, John Rush, along with Jeff Kitty. We'll be back right after this, KLZ 560.
You've packed your family of 8 in a 5-person car. Packed a week's worth of groceries into one bag. And when your wife says the dishwasher's full, you just laugh. But are you up for the challenge when there's 20% off on the line? Pick up our exclusive 5-gallon Napa Camo Bucket for just $2.99. Then get 20% off all the stuff you can fit in it. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Some exclusions apply. Offer expires 11/16/14.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on auto repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Pike Canyon, or visit us online at Gino'sAutoservice.com. That's GenosAutoservice.com.
Arvada West Auto wants to help you get the best fuel mileage you can. Approximately 3.5 million gallons of gas today are lost due to underinflated tires. There are many things we can do to help you boost your fuel mileage, and most of it comes down to basic maintenance. No one likes to spend money on unplanned repairs, but Arvada West Auto and Truck do what they do best. Keep your vehicles running at peak performance. From tune-ups to wheel alignments, they've got you covered with a 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty on most cars. On the web, visit ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com or call 303-422-1065. Arvada West Auto and Truck, where every question is important. Located on West 64th Avenue between Ward Road and Sims.
Ever tried to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
John Rush, Drive Radio, KLD 560, along with Jeff Kitty, and looking out the window here, we were just commenting on how beautiful the trees, colors are starting to come in here in the city, and we have so many more trees today than we did when I was a kid that, yeah, it's really nice to drive to the mountains and look at the colors, and that's fantastic. But you know what? We got a lot of colors anymore, even inside the city, to make things very beautiful. So it's a very enjoyable day, nice Saturday afternoon. Hopefully you're listening to us out in the garage, working in the yard, doing whatever it is you do. If you can't catch us live, you can catch our podcasts. I put all those up on our website, and I'm also now using a device called, or a service called SoundCloud. And there's a link right on our website to that. You will see here by the end of the year, I will no longer be putting those up on our own server. I'll be using SoundCloud only, mainly because it's just such an easier system to use. I don't have to maintain a server. It'll make life much easier. So things will be migrating to SoundCloud. You can find it on our website, drive-radio.com. And again, I put all that stuff up on Facebook, etc. And I would encourage you, if you're a social media guy, or even if you're not, go to Facebook, check us out, like our page if you would. It's facebook.com/Drive Radio. If you just type in Drive Radio, you will find us in the Facebook search bar along with our YouTube channel. Tech tip from David. How to fix annoying wiper chatter. And this is a tip I had remembered from years ago, and I'm glad he joggled my mind because I had totally forgotten, really forgotten about this. But it's a good time to replace wiper blades as we head into winter. But you really need to make sure that they're not chattering when you install them. So if you've got wiper chatter, especially before putting on new blades, it's a good idea to check them after you put on the new blades. If you've got chatter, how do you fix that? Okay, here's an easy way. Get a crescent wrench out. Tighten that up onto the wiper arm itself, the flat part of the arm. And by tweaking the arm ever so slightly to get the blade perpendicular with the windshield, you can adjust how that blade is hitting the windshield and take away that chatter. And the way they get bent is by allowing your windshield wipers to freeze to the windshield and then firing them up. That can, believe it or not, bend ever so slightly those wipers, and just over time with use, etc., they'll get a little bit tweaked, and that's an easy way to actually fix those, is just tweak them a little bit, get them perpendicular, take a little bit of, squirt bottle, put a little bit of water on there, and then by that wiping back and forth, make sure you don't have any chatter. Second of all, he had another great tip. If you have a space saver spare, those rarely, spare tires in general rarely get inspected for air, but space savers typically require about 60 psi. If it gets below that, that space saver is not going to do you any good. So occasionally, either you or your shop, check that spare tire, make sure that it's full of air, and while you're doing it, clean your trunk out at the same time, because the lighter trunk will mean a little bit better fuel economy at the end of the day, and David is right on that. So let's go to Eric in Commerce City. He's up next. Eric, what's going on?
Hey, I actually got a story for you.
Sure.
About 20 years ago, I was going through the EMT school, and as part of the EMT school, or paramedic school, you have to do what's called clinicals, and generally 40 hours in an emergency room, 40 hours on an ambulance.
Okay.
At that point, I'd been driving for a few years. I'd had a couple of accidents and was still young and dumb. I was in my early 20s. changed my driving that as a result of the morning come in at 5:30 to that clinical. Helps the paramedic immediately straight up the ambulance, talking, checking everything. And the guy says, let's go to breakfast. All right. And we're sitting at the light at 7 p.m. and Highway 685 in Congress City.
Okay.
6 o'clock in the morning. Here comes this car flying down the street. Blows right past us. And paramedics says there's an accident waiting to happen. Well, I'm sitting in the germ seat in the back. I didn't really see any, but I saw him coming. And like the screen, we turned the corner, and something that people probably don't realize is most cops, fire trucks, and ambulances drive with windows cracked a little bit so you can hear for other sirens. Sometimes you can hear things too going on.
Right.
And this guy, they had their windows cracked a little bit, and all of a sudden we just heard what sounded like an explosion of metal.
Wow.
And he said, "And one is that car." And we knew which way he was going. They turned around and started, slowly heading that way. Turns out it was 2 20-somethings who were drunk. They were late for church. They didn't make it. Neither one of them made it to church.
Yeah, they made it to church all right. Just not that church.
Well, yeah. He came through the intersection. They went down the road and made another left turn and stood on it to hurry up to get back. Then what it was, they wanted to pick up their girlfriend and head for church. And this was in Congress City, so a couple of Hispanic guys. And a car back down and started back down the driveway.
Yep.
It swerved.
Yep.
And flipped another car that was parked on the side street. And they pinwheeled down the street.
Wow. 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 Not good.
He clipped the left front of a car that was on the curb, so he hit it, just off the head on.
Yep.
And basically, the combination of pinwheel and pinball were probably a quarter of the block.
Wow.
7 or 8 cars. They rolled a couple of times. So one guy was ejected. And the only reason we knew there were 2 people in the car because the driver was DOA. The only reason we knew there was a fast gun car was because when they went by it, we had seen them.
Wow. Wow.
And as the car was cartwheeling, the one kid was thrown.
Ejected.
And, yeah, he was ejected from the car.
Yep.
And we found him 4 houses away from the car.
Wow. Unbelievable.
And he actually lived. We're like looking at the text and going, where's the other guy at? And somebody came outside and we heard somebody scream, and that's when, somebody, screamed and, that's when where the body was, where the other person was, and we, ran over to it. And they started working on it, and the paramedics told me, what that Daniel, get that. I mean, I think I probably ran like 3 times before they finally told me just pull the ambulance up here.
Wow.
And they worked on him, and they ended up calling for flight to life.
Wow.
Because there was just no way that we were going to get in the hospital quick enough.
Wow.
And yeah, I definitely learned the lesson that day. I guess it might be better be late.
Yes. Better be late than never, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where that old saying comes from, I think. Better late than never.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a truck driver now, and I see it all the time.
Yes, you do.
Some other accidents, they don't resonate with me quite as much as that one does.
Yep.
But, it was one of those life-changing moments. It was actually when I actually went back to write up on the clinical.
Yeah.
And when I talked about it, everybody was thinking, they were like, wow, you got the best, so to speak, all of the class.
Wow. Wow. Hey, man, appreciate the phone call, Eric. Take care, man. Appreciate it. Let's go to a quick break. We'll come back. We'll take Randy, who's in Castle Rock, who's got another gasket question. We'll follow up with Randy, and I'm going to talk about some RV preparedness as soon as we come back. Don't go away. I'm your host, John Rush, with Jeff Kitty, KLZ 560.
Have you failed an emissions test and don't know what to do? Have you been trying to fix it yourself? Our Battle West is your answer. We score 100% on our success ratio. That's confidence.
So does Randy.
explain the repair process to you. We use a proven diagnostic format that we have developed since the emissions program began here in Colorado. For an honest, understandable, and reasonably priced diagnosis, stop by and see us. We've helped clean our Colorado air since 1981. Call our Battle West Auto and Truck 303-422-1065 or see us on the web at our BattleWestAutoandTruck.com. If you would like to stop by to make an appointment, we are at 11752 West 64th Avenue.
You use the motor oil Dad used, and he uses what Granddad used. Yet no one uses what Great-Granddad used, because whale oil is illegal. But if oil's what you need, Napa has you covered. With Castrol GTX for only $3.79 a quart, or 5 quarts in a Napa Silver filter for just $21.99. No harpoons needed. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. General state pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 11/16/14.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer. All right, here we go. John Rush, Jeff Kitty, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. We'll do Randy next, and then I will talk about getting your RV and your camper ready for winter. Randy, what's going on?
Hey, sorry to bug you again, but I just got off the phone with the dealership about my vehicle. They do have a oil pan gasket for that. It is rubber. It's not going to be cork.
Okay.
But my question is, when I've had my differentials, like for instance on the Jeep done or my transmission on the car, I waited for it to get done. I got the vehicle back. Now, when it comes to the oil pan, is this something that has to cure overnight, or will I get the vehicle back when the work is done?
You get it back the same day. If they do it in the same day, that is. It depends on how they schedule it, but yeah, you should be able to get it back in the same day.
Okay, so there's no 24 hours
No,
time?
typically not.
That being said, that if they use a silicone or a silicone type adhesive, it does have to skin.
Right.
Well,
you're not going to go in and get it done in an hour. It's going to be a day job.
It needs to cure just a little bit before you start putting pressure on it.
So it could end up being half a day.
Well, it'll be at least a half a day, if not a full day. I would plan on a full day on that.
Okay, I thought maybe it was coming back tomorrow because it's got to cure overnight.
No, that won't be a problem.
Okay. Well, all right. Thank you for the
You're very welcome, Randy. Appreciate it very much. All right, line's open. Call us with anything you want, questions, comments, answers. Maybe there was something when you were driving, as I spoke earlier and Jeff has spoke. Many others have called in. It's been a great topic, by the way. Maybe something affected the way you now drive today. In fact, I think most of us could say there's something along the lines, if not one thing, more than one thing that affected us down the line of things you've seen, accidents, things that have happened, etc. Give us a story. What has changed the way you drive today from what it was maybe back before you actually saw that event happen? 303-477-5600. Or anything you want to comment on. We're going to talk about RVs for a moment. And yeah, we don't talk a lot about RVs and campers, but occasionally we do. Most of us in this room have either owned one, do own one, have been around them, etc. at one point in time or another, have worked on them, etc. So here's a few tips for you. And this is not in any particular order, but these are just things I used to do when we had RVs and trailers, etc. But here's what you do. First of all, clean out all food.
Yes.
Leave nothing in that RV through the winter months. Make sure there's nothing to attract critters. Okay, so get rid of anything inside the vehicle that would be an attraction. I mean, I'm talking even things that you might think ought to just hang in there because they're, salt, pepper, sugar, things like that. No, get everything out of the inside of that. You're going to want to put fresh stuff back in it anyways. Next, if it's a self-contained unit, drain all water, and then make sure you put some RV antifreeze back into the system. Next thing you do, and most of the places out there will tell you this, but if not, just keep listening. Run that system for a few minutes. Let that antifreeze run through the pipes, the system. Open up all the spigots, the shower, whatever you've got that has running water going to it. And then what I used to do is I'd leave all of those faucets open and just turn the battery power off to kill the pump and left everything alone at that point. Don't go back in and shut all the faucets off. So you want to be able to have, just in case something does want to freeze a little bit, it shouldn't with the antifreeze in it, but leave everything open. I think that's what they'll recommend that you do anyways. Then also make sure that you get some antifreeze into the pump, etc. Yeah, then unhook the battery, turn the pump off, whatever you need to do, make sure all that stuff shut off. Next, this again, they may or may not tell you this at the trailer place, unhook your propane. Why? Just unhook the nozzle, just get it off of there. It doesn't need to be on there in the first place. Unhook them, unscrew them, just get your hoses off. Why? That purges the system. It gets rid of anything that would be in the lines. Make sure your lines and stuff are capped when you do that, but just make sure that you've got the bottle shut off. And in some cases, if you've got a little trailer or something, I would just take the bottles clear off of it. If it were me, that's how I would do it. If you got a generator, if you've got that type of a unit, drain the gas in the generator. You don't want to leave that sitting in it all winter long. Cover the tires. That's true on any RV that you're going to have sitting outside. Even if you just have to make trash bags to work, cover those tires, trash bags, blankets, whatever you need to do. They make tire covers, but go ahead and just get the tires covered up. The trailer plug itself, also cover that up. Don't just leave it dangling. Cover it up, put a plastic bag on it, do whatever you need to do. Don't tape it all up shut with, duct tape and all that. Just get a rubber band in a plastic bag or something. And again, it just keeps all the grit and grime and junk out of the end of that, okay? And there are covers and stuff that are actually made for those, but you can do it a lot cheaper than that. All right, I've got a few more. We're going to take Jerry up in Erie next. We'll talk about what he's got, and I'll come back to that. So, Jerry, what's going on?
A couple of diesel questions.
Sure.
I follow your advice on top-tier gas fuel. Does the same thing apply to the diesel fuel?
It does not.
It does not. It's basically the same.
Well, and what you need to do on diesel is it's more important on diesel to buy it at a station that sells a lot of diesel, not necessarily that's at a quote-unquote top tier. There is no top-tier rating for diesel fuel in the first place, but diesel fuel can start to grow algae very quickly in the tanks that are even in the ground. So if you go to a station that uses a lot of diesel fuel, has a lot of diesel customers, that's the first tip in buying diesel fuel. Outside of that, that's about the only thing I can tell you to do.
Okay. All right. Thank you. The second question is the 6.4 diesel Ford engine. What do you think of it?
I don't think a whole lot of them.
Okay. That's kind of what I was doing, but I better confirm it with you. I had an opportunity to buy an 09 that has one.
The 09s are better than the 08s because, again, that's a second year for them versus the first year. The 6.4 liter is a glorified 6 liter. And most people don't know that. They think Ford went in and did a bunch of changes on the 6.4 in relation to the 6 liter. And really, I think if I had my choice between an 07 6 liter or an 08 6.4, I think I'd buy an 07 6 liter before I'd buy the 6.4.
Gotcha. Okay. I've kind of read that a little bit from that standpoint. I started looking at fuel filters. Fuel filters are exactly the same as the 6.0.
They're essentially the same engine, just some redesigns from Ford because they had so many problems with the 6 liter. But what was odd is by 07, most of those were pretty well ironed out. And they did the 6.4 and got into a whole other set of problems with it that they're still basically messing around with. And now, of course, the new 6.7 is a totally new 100% different engine than either one of those. But, I'm not knocking every 6.4 that's on the road. There are some that are going to be decent, but it's just not my favorite engine.
Okay, I understand. All right, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right, Jerry, appreciate the phone call. All right, line's open, 303-477-5600. Great question, by the way, that Jerry just had, and that's the kind of stuff we'll answer all day long, and that's my opinion. You're going to have some people call in and say, John, 6.4s are great. And I doubt that anybody's going to call in and say that, but the 6.4, just as Jeff even knows sitting here, it just has its own set of issues that are even outside of what the 6-liter had. The 6.4 is harder to work on than the 6-liter is. So if you're going to work on one or the other, I'd rather work on a 6-liter than a 6.4. And most of the 6-liter stuff has pretty well, there's enough fixes out for those that, again, if I'm going to buy either one of those, go buy one a year or two older. You don't get the same cab design, so you sacrifice a little bit there, but the 6-liters actually, by the end of those, by 05, 06, they weren't a bad engine at that point. They were getting much better by then. So, all right, back to our RV topic. Another thing that I think you should do, and most people won't tell you this, but if you've got an RV, especially one that's a little bit nicer and you want to keep things that way, try to figure out a way with cardboard or something along those lines to cover the windows on the inside to keep the sun from dry rotting stuff on the inside of the camper. And what I would not recommend, a lot of people, do this sort of thing. Well, John, a lot of those have drapes and shutters and things like that. Just shut those. Well, now you're going to eat that away. Yeah. So just take and get some nice cardboard, something like that, slip that down inside over those windows, tape them on with some blue tape if you have to. But again, just keep that sun from coming in and beating down on the stuff that's inside the trailer, the interior of the trailer, I should say. If you can wax the unit, that's a nice thing to do this time of year. Not all of the finishes on all RVs are waxable, so just check that and see if yours is. Touch up any scratches, nicks, etc. that are on the tongue, the frame, the bumper, things like that. Again, just so you're not letting that stuff sit exposed to the snow and the elements all winter long. Put lots of dryer sheets in the interior, inside the cabinets, inside of storage closets, any place especially that's exposed to the outside. What do I mean by that? In other words, if there's an opening to the outside, put some dryer sheets in that area, and you're going to say, well, why? What do the dryer sheets do? It keeps the critters away. Why does it do that? Because they smell fresh. Mice especially don't like things smelling fresh. If it smells good, they're not going to be around it. If it smells putrid, that's where they're going to be. And if they can smell food, things like that, that's where they're going to be. So yeah, throw some dryer sheets in there. They're cheap. I just bought 2 boxes the other day for my trucks and the equipment I have in my fleet at Costco. I think, Jeff, I paid $7 for 2 boxes.
Yeah.
It's minuscule.
Yeah.
For what rodent can do on the inside of an RV, $7 is nothing.
Yeah.
It's cheap. It's a little bit of insurance is what you're buying.
And RV wiring.
Yeah. Again, to Jeff's point, just find where those places are, and try to put those dryer sheets in as many of those as you can. All right, Pat is up next, has a carb question. We don't get too many of those anymore. So, Pat, welcome. What's going on?
Hey, thanks a lot for taking my call.
You bet.
I got a 72 old Cutlass. Everything's running on it. It runs a little rich. I seem to have that problem. I put the Edelbrock 600 on it.
Okay.
And I just can't seem to tweak it down. It's just, I was wondering if you could recommend I'm tapping out, John.
So you basically bought and what engine in the old? I should ask you that first.
Oh, okay. Well, I wish it was the 455, but it's a 350.
Okay, so you got a 350. You bought an out-of-the-box Edelbrock 600 carb.
Correct.
Which means it's going to be a little too rich for our elevation.
Okay.
So you can do one of 2 things. You can either take that into somebody and have them actually, go through the process of rejettering it, remetering it, etc. Or you can buy through Edelbrock their jet/metering kit, which, by the way, a shop is going to buy and charge you for anyways, unless they happen to have a few of those kicking around. So you're going to end up with that anyway. So I'd buy that kit if it were me. Play around with it a little bit and see if you can't jet it and meter it down yourself until you get it running like you want to, and then call it good. They're not that hard to do. That's a very easy carburetor to work on.
So, well, a couple of things. So I purchased a fuel pump from Napa, but it was putting out well over 11 psi.
That's too much.
Yeah, so I got another one, and finally one fit. It wasn't flowing over to the secondary, so that worked fine. I did order that Edelbrock kit, and I did meter it down. I think I metered it.
Okay, now remember, when you do meters, you have to step up in the meter or down in jets.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got to go larger on metering rods to make it leaner, or smaller on the jet side. So it's opposite. Jets are smaller, metering rods are bigger.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if you went smaller on the metering rod, you made it worse.
Okay. Now, how about the springs?
Don't mess with those until you get your meters, till you get your jetting about where you want it. The springs are more for tuning it to get it to run, to have the right throttle response, etc. That's more for that than it is just getting the basics of the jetting done first. So get your basic jetting done first, spring second.
I got you. Okay.
Okay, so get it to where it's going to run right first, then worry about your springs.
So another question, is there a shop in Castle Rock that you would recommend or nearby?
None that I know of. Your closest is going to be Dennis up in Parker. Dennis at Extreme.
Extreme.
Yep.
Okay.
But again, that's not a hard one to do, and it's actually kind of fun. You'll get into it. It's just remember, metering rods bigger to lean, jets smaller to lean.
And I think
I think I did all the hard stuff first. I thought this would be the easiest, but for some reason it's kicking my back.
Now, getting it metered is tough. And remember, before you even start into carburation, and this is old days, old time stuff. So everybody listening that doesn't have a carburetor, don't worry, this doesn't apply to you. But make sure timing, advance, all of that stuff is set first. Then start working on the carburetor. So many guys go backwards and they start working on carburation and then timing second, and you can't do it that way.
Yeah, got all the timing good. It's just this last part of it.
Perfect. Yeah, and there's a fine line, especially at our elevation, where it'll really work well or it won't work so well.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you.
You betcha. No, thanks a lot, Pat. Appreciate you calling, and go check out Dennis if you need to. He'll help you out. All right, let's see. I think Stuart is up next. Stuart, what's going on?
Hi. I have a 2002 Buick Century with a 6-cylinder in it, and my son-in-law's brother also has one, and both of these vehicles have a deep knock in the motor. Now, this vehicle's engine has 145,000 on it, and it doesn't burn a drop, nor does it leak a drop. My mechanic told me it's not a tappet nor a lifter. He thought it was something that had to do deeper inside the motor that had loosened up over time. But in his opinion, he said he'd keep driving and not worry about it. Now, it's past emissions and all of that. And I was just wondering what your feelings or perspective was on something that had a noise like that. Now, it is a deeper knock.
Is it definitely engine, or do you think it could potentially be a flex plate or something like that that's knocking?
Well, now that's a good question.
Because those were notorious for cracking flex plates.
A flex plate.
That's what couples the torque converter to the engine on the transmission side.
Now, what does that entail as far as repair?
You pull the transmission out and put a flex plate in it and put it all back together. Not as big a deal as it sounds. That's a pretty easy thing.
Okay.
That's way better than trying to go in and fix a rod knock. If that's you would hope that it's got a flex plate knock, not a rod knock. If it's a rod knock, and I wouldn't just keep driving if it's got a rod knock, because the longer eventually it'll just seize up and you won't be driving at all.
Does the noise seem to change at all?
No, and we've put an additive in it too that the mechanic recommended, and it didn't really change the sound.
You need no offense. You need a new mechanic.
No,
I'm being dead serious on that, because the suggestions you've already been getting, both of them are wrong.
Yep. Okay.
So you're in Littleton, go over, see Steve at Geno's, have him listen to that, determine whether that's actually an engine knock or a flex plate, and they'll be able to listen to that and pretty much tell you, and they can do a few other tests on it to determine that, but make sure that you're going after the right knock in the first place.
Okay.
And additives will never, ever, ever get rid of a deep engine knock. No.
All right.
You're very welcome, Stuart. Yeah, sorry, but that was a waste of whatever the $5 or $6 or $20 for the additive was, because you're not going to fix engine knock with oil additive. So we come back. We're going to take a quick break. Mike has another suggestion on our RV list. I've got a few others of my own. We'll cover those when we come back. Line open, 303-477-5600. Last segment, Drive Radio, coming up next. I'm your host, Sean Rush, along with Jeff Kitty, KLZ 560.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in Boulder? At John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4, located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet 1. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Napa supports the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, and this month we're making it easy for you to show your support too. Make any $25 purchase and you'll receive a free Napa Camo Racing Cap. For every cap we give out, we'll donate $1 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, supporting those who serve you. That's Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 11/16/14.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
24 seconds. I timed it. It took me just 24 seconds to find a AAA certified master mechanic who offers the best peace of mind warranty in the state. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. At coloradoselect.org, I search my city and boom, I'm done. Colorado Select Auto Care puts their member shops through a rigorous set of requirements, so I know no matter which shop I choose, I'll get the best auto repair service possible. That's 24 seconds well spent. coloradoselect.org.
All right, John Rush, your host, KLZ 560, Drive Radio. And I had a email question that came in. I'll get to that in just a moment. Let's go to Mike, who's up next. Mike, what's going on today?
Hey, always like the Harley better.
Yeah, well, me too.
About the power valve. You were talking about smells in the RV.
Yes.
I used to deliver pizza.
Okay.
And so I put Irish Spring under the seat.
Yeah. Okay. Good idea. Yeah. Anything that smells fresh is what they're looking for. I mean, that's what keeps them out.
Yeah. And the truck didn't smell like pizza all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's a great idea.
You can only take so much smell of pizza. I stopped eating pizza for a year.
I'll bet you did. I've never delivered pizza, but I can only imagine.
See you later.
Hey, appreciate it very much. Thanks for the phone call. Yeah, and you know, and he's right. I mean, basically, just trying to make things smell fresh. And the other thing that the dryer sheets will do, by the way, or the Irish Spring or anything we've talked about, is when you go back in to use that thing next spring, it won't smell so musty and nasty. And you know how they get when they're all those RVs get. They just smell odd when you get back into the springtime, and it'll help them smell better when you do that. So, all right. So I had some questions, or 2 questions come in via the internet, and if you're listening to this, Benjamin, hopefully you are. If not, I'm going to email you anyways. But he's listening to us out in Kansas City, so I appreciate that very much. All right, driver's side window in his 2002 Ford Escape does not go up and down, but he can pull it up and down freely with his hands. He's going to replace the entire cable regulator assembly and was wondering on what brand of regulator to buy and are there differences in the brands. He's heard that some motors are going slower than what the car actually came with. Jeff, does that ring a bell at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta make sure that the glass slide isn't binding up.
Okay.
But the motors, if the window's dragging, that's what causes the motor to go slow.
Got it.
We've been using the Napa regulators, and they're fine. Haven't had a whole lot of problem with any of them.
And that's my answer. I've already got typed out to him. Okay, next question is, he replaced the rear wiper blade on the same vehicle, 2002 Ford Escape. It came with a brand new 10-inch blade, and just as the old one did, it does not wipe the glass completely at all. In fact, it may only wipe about 50% of what it should be. Right now, the back window wiper is pretty useless. Any suggestions on getting that to be working as it should be? I'd have to look at that one, Benjamin, to see exactly.
Probably say it's a wiper.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd look at the spring on that, see if it's holding it up against the window.
What I'm gonna send you an email of, if you're still listening, Benjamin, is send me a picture. I want to see that back window and what that looks like. And by the way, you can send that to john@drive-radio.com. And if I see that a picture of that back window, that would help me out a lot. And by the way, folks, you guys can always send us stuff like that. In fact, some of the stuff that we do on air, if you'll send me some pictures during the week, that helps out a ton. And you know what, with the advent of modern email, which now has been around for a very long time, there isn't too many things you can't email around. So, send me a picture of something. I'll look at it, see what we can do to get you fixed up. I've got other guys in the group I can send things to, and they can chime in. So, if you've got a question on a lot of things, man, the pictures says it all. Speaks 1,000 words. So that's why we're doing a lot of our videos or a lot of our reviews now via video on YouTube, because I can show you and explain things way better than I could ever sit and write them out. So again, catch us on YouTube. Drive Radio in the search bar of YouTube will get you to our channel, or find us on the website, drive-radio.com. All right, so I also have a couple more things on the RV trailer, or whatever you want to call it. If you can, now some of you guys, I know you got to go rent space, you have to go put the thing away into storage, etc., and you have no choice on where you park it. But if you have a choice, try to find something in the shade. Maybe even on the lot that you're going to go park in. If you have a choice between one that's shady versus one that's not, try to get that in the shade if you possibly can. The dryer sheets we already talked about. One other thing, too, that I make mention of, and this is a big deal on a lot of RVs, campers, etc. Make sure the windows and the doors seal completely.
Yes.
And it's a whole lot better to fix that now than next spring. Why? Because you'll keep the snow and the dirt and the dust and the junk from blowing in all winter long. Plus, it's much easier when you go out next spring, start using it. It'll just be much more sealed up, etc. How do you fix that stuff? No different than you would stuff around the house. Silicone, weather stripping, all sorts of things that you can use. Most of that you can buy right from Home Depot. Go there, get the stuff you need, get everything sealed up. But again, just make sure the windows are sealed, the doors are sealed. And the other thing I would recommend too is, as RVs wear, a lot of the areas where they would put piping and things through the outside of the RV, that stuff starts to go bad. It needs re-siliconed, it needs refoamed. That's another way to keep the critters out of the inside. An exterminator told me one time, and I think he's right. The end of a ball pen, of a ball, ballpoint pen, not the tip that you write with, but where it actually would poke through like a click pen, which isn't much more than about 1/4 to maybe, I don't know, not even 3/8 of an inch, Jeff. This guy claims a mouse can fit through a hole that small. Basically, anything they can get their head through, they can get the rest of their body through. So the smaller the mouse, the easier I've seen them get through things where you look at it and think, man, there isn't a hole anywhere on here big enough for them to get through. They will figure it out, or they'll chew their way through too, which they can also do. So watch that. Watch where things come in and out of the camper, hoses, pipes, electrical, make sure all that stuff's sealed, because they can run right up an electrical wire or a tube or whatever, and they'll run right into the camper. And man, by the time it gets to where you get the thing out of storage, it can be a mess.
Yes, it can.
They can chew everything. So, all right, let's see what else did I have. I had 100 car buying tips, which there's no way we're going to get to 100. I'll give you one. Take time when shopping. Do not, and this is true, we talk about this on here all the time. My son's a big one on this, and it's kind of the first one to remind me of this. It's always better to buy something when you don't need it than it is to buy something when you do. Why is that? Because you'll make a better judgment on what to buy when you don't absolutely have to go out and buy it than when you're in an emergency.
Yep.
When you have time to study, time to look, time to shop, time to check out all the deals, time to call our buddy Isaac Bouchard. Those are the things that will help you make a better buying decision. So yeah, I encourage you to do that. All right, next week, I don't know what I have in store yet. I haven't got that far yet. We're going to talk about some other things. We'll have great questions for next week, some other great tech tips. Most of all, I say it a lot. If you like this show, please use our sponsors, all of them, but especially our Colorado Select guys. They're the ones that really make this thing happen week after week after week. They come in like Jeff did today, and they talk, and they answer questions, and they make this thing happen. Jeff, tell them how to get a hold of you once you go off air this week.
Call us at 303-427-2108. That's Larry's Automotive. And Westminster.
Our resident transmission experts, check them out. And again, we've got them all over the state, from Parker all the way to Fort Collins. You can find them at coloradoselect.com. And again, check out all of our car reviews, all the things we've got going on. Go to our website, drive-radio.com. Also, Larry gave me a sheet on a bunch of recalls today. I believe I'm caught up on recalls. Check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/Drive Radio. I put up all of the recalls. As soon as they come out on the NTSB's website, I stick them up, so I'll do that as quickly as I can throughout the week, and that helps you know exactly what's going on with your vehicle. Guys, with that, I'm out of here. Sportsman's of Colorado is up next. Don't go away. Matt, my engineer who's been out with strep throat all week long, thank you for being here today. Great job. Looking forward to next week. And catch my new show that's on during the weeks, Rush to Reason, every day at 2 p.m. right here on AM 560 KLZ. God bless you. Have a great weekend, and I'll be back here on Monday. See you at 2 o'clock. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.